Welcome, guys, back to the Watchlist podcast. It's episode 24, and today we're going to be talking about Nicolas Winding Refn's new movie, Her Private Hell. So, to me, this is the movie of the year. Is this the movie of the year for you, Luke?
I've been struggling with this question for the past, 24 hours. I don't know. Honestly, it's really between it for me, it's between Disclosure Day, Odyssey, and this movie. And I I don't know. I don't know. I seriously can't pick. Okay, if I had to choose, I might do the Odyssey number one, and then this movie, and then Disclosure Day. Um but I need to see Odyssey and Her Private Hell again, Like, I need, to
Yeah,
have, fully formed thoughts and, really
yeah,
my opinion is not fully formed, but it's
yeah,
definitely one of the best, easily, and I think it's gonna stay in the top 5 list at the end of the year.
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
crazy? I don't know.
No, I,
Like,
I think it'll be probably my number one, two, or three by the end of the year.
yeah.
Because this is a really high four, and Disclosure Day is a low four. So there's a big gap between those two, and those are my only two 4 stars so far this year. Um, But yeah, what an amazing movie. So I have seen it 3 times in the last week. So I saw it last Monday
He's ready.
for a Q&A. I went to a live Q&A, front row. I got to ask him a question. It was the last question, and my heart was racing. I was so nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
And then I got to meet him after, got to take a picture. If you follow us on Instagram, you saw the picture I got to have with him. And that was just a surreal moment. Like, it was like, I can't believe, especially since I had spent the last 3 days, I watched like 8 of his movies in the span of 3 days before that. And it's really weird, like, getting to love a director from the safety of your own home. And then you go to the theater and you get to meet him. It's like, this guy's real. This guy's
Mhm.
what a creator. And his Q&A was insane. So, I mean, I want to first start off with the reception at Cannes, which is really interesting. So I got a lot of
Yeah.
walkouts. And even on Letterboxd, it's sitting at a 2.3 average right now.
Yeah.
Um, really low. And honestly, I can kind of understand why,
I can
to a
completely
degree.
understand why.
Yeah,
You can tell. It's
it's mostly a
definitely.
dialogue issue. It's mostly
Yeah.
like a
Well,
dialogue
it's
is
also
super weird.
really slow and there's, no cohesive plot,
Yeah,
and they're talking very strange the whole
right.
movie, and kinda nothing clear it's very unclear, um, s maybe spatially, eh, where things are. It'll, jump to, it
Yeah,
jumps
the
to,
blocking is kinda weird sometimes too. You're like, "Oh,
yeah.
that doesn't make sense," but you kinda just it doesn't bother me at all, and
No,
obviously
well,
not
I think
you, really.
it's
I think it's
all
great.
intentional, and it's all, creating this,
Yeah,
bizarre world, right? Where you kind of just
yeah,
learn to just fall into this, trip, it's kind of, hypnotic. You just kind of you're in it, and it's just, taking you wherever, and it's just a surreal surreal movie. But I definitely understand the people walking out. I don't know about your theater experience. I only had one guy in my theater, and every, 5 minutes, or every time it would s it'd go slow again, he would just check his phone, check the time, and, go "Ugh." He was, dying.
really.
I could just feel him, dying next to me,
Okay,
waiting for it to
so
be over.
it's kind of hard to compare that to me because I was at, like, a Q&A, and so the
Yeah.
energy was high, and it was sold out,
What about your other
and
screenings?
so my other 2 screenings were both pretty much full, and
Wow. That's great.
No one walked out. People were laughing their ass off. It seems like
Mhm.
generally it felt like they had a good time, but it's also like this movie is such a dream state where I'm
Yeah.
just like kind of locked in where I'm not even thinking about
Mhm.
people around me. I'm sure half of the theater did not like it, didn't leave it like I did, where I'm just like swept with emotion, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is like maybe the greatest thing ever made. Um, but back to the can thing, it had a lot of walkouts, but it also had a 7-minute standing ovation with the people that did stay. So I
Mhm.
think that shows
Yeah.
the 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 polarization this movie
Right.
holds. And what's interesting is Nicholas even talked about it. He says he got asked by the Q&A guy. So the guy who did the Q&A is the head of South by Southwest here in Austin. And he's a former movie critic. And he even talked about how he used to talk bad about Nicholas Winding Refn movies, and now he's like grown to love him, leaving the critic stuff. And he asked, like, do you care about the reception this movie's getting? Because it's obviously not getting good reception. And Nicholas says, I love it. He's like, I
Yeah.
love that people aren't liking this movie. And I was like, this is exactly how I feel. Like my
Yeah.
biggest thing is I don't want to make movies like when I eventually become a creator, a director or whatever. I don't want to make movies that are like widely accepted to be great, because then that's kind of like fine tuning it to like, oh, this is something that everyone will like.
Yeah.
Um,
I could even sorry, keep going.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we could even apply that to this podcast where we're
Yeah,
putting out our Christopher Nolan rankings and that's getting so much hate, right? But it's
yeah,
like if we did that and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like we'd be doing something wrong in a way because especially with Christopher Nolan, just the kind of stigma around, there's objective, like there's a this is how it's meant to be, and kind of that fan base being so protective over like these there's no opinions allowed, right? Like no, you can't stray away from this objective factor, right? And it's kind of like
yeah,
people being mad at us and doing it is kind of like a testament to the state of kind of we'll go back to this movie like that this movie getting bad reception, and I think a lot about Megalopolis obviously, is kind of like, yeah, we're living in a world where like going against the grain in any way is just going to get the worst pushback ever, right? Because I think people are kind of, I don't know, they're afraid of change. They don't want change. They have this idea of what's a good movie, right? They have these like objective viewpoints in their head, and whenever you go against that, in like the most subjective thing ever, like art, right? It's like
yeah.
it's blasphemous, right? It's like this big thing, and it's so surreal, especially when like this movie is fucking incredible, like on so
Also,
many
I will
levels.
say, like on that note, like it's crazy that this movie's made. So Nicholas fully funded this movie himself. So it's his entire like this
Mm,
is his vision,
that's
right? It's his
awesome. I didn't
production
know that.
company that. So it's like says this is an NFR or NWR like production. This is his production company. All the money that he's basically made from those like the Prime series and the Netflix series, he
Hmm.
kind of put into this. And that's just, like so great. It's like the same thing with FFC and Megalopolis.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of like
it actually
it's
is.
like
Yeah,
kind of doing that same thing. Obviously, this movie didn't cost
right.
$250 million, right? He's using his money well here, which is great. Um, I have so much stuff to talk about because I want to talk about the Q&A in depth, but I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
spread that out.
Okay.
I do want to talk about first Pino Donaggio's score.
Oh my god.
Before we even get to the movie, we need to talk
Yeah.
about the score because it is it is genuinely like heaven.
Yeah.
Like to contrast the title of the movie being hell, the score is heaven. There's like the way that the score is moving and changing is
Hmm.
absolutely insane. You have these very whimsical moments. There's a moment where they're in the club and you have the blonde girl who's kind of dancing with these statues, right? And the score is kind of just like floating above her, and it kind of feels like a theme song for her, like her ditziness, right? Like she's really dumb, right? And she's just kind of flowing through, and she has this sparkling dress,
Hmm.
and it's just like beautiful. And then the way that the score changes as she gets closer, and it becomes more of like a hellscape, is like beautiful. And it like everything is set to stone, and it has this tempo that really fits. Almost the entire movie has
Yeah.
music with it. The soundtrack is an hour 30, and almost every single minute of that soundtrack is in the film, and the movie is an hour and 50.
Hmm.
So you have like 20 minutes of no music in this film, and it's just remarkable. And I will talk about how the score even came about. So this is crazy. Pino Donaggio did a lot of De Palma scores, and he got famous really young. Like he was like 20 years old or something when he made Don't Look Now or something. And back in the 70s, and he's been like a big guy in like horror and thriller space, right? And he is in his late 80s now, and he hasn't made a score for a couple years. And Nicholas was like looking for what he wanted for the score, and he knew he wanted that kind of old giallo feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so he went to the only person living that does that kind of score really. And so he went to Italy and he went to Pino, and Pino doesn't speak a lick of English. And Nicholas was talking about how he had like this really funny banter that he knew that they were gonna work really well together. As he said to Pino, he's like, "You better make this a good one because you're gonna die soon." And then Pino started laughing, and he knew that they were gonna work good together. And I was like, that's such a
Crazy.
cool little moment of like just like joking with this like a legendary composer,
Yeah.
and then like him laughing about it and not being like a hard ass, you know?
Yeah.
And then them making the score. So the entire score was made before the film was even started production.
Wow. That's actually insane. That's kind of
And it's
unbelievable. I don't
so
know.
it's kind of like it kind of feels like the movie's filmed for the score, which is like
Right.
great. And also another thing too is uh Nicholas was talking about how he films his movies chronologically, which is very rare. So he films his movie from the first scene is the first scene that he shot, and the
Mm,
last scene is the last scene he shot, which is so cool. Because he says that that's how he feels the music changes, he feels the tone of the movie changes, like the ending's different, like the characters say different things later on that are important, and he kind of like
yeah.
builds the movie that way more so than like staying strict to a script, which is so that's just filmmaking.
I
It's
mean,
just
yeah, it's kind of a thing where like you can only do that when you're financing your own movie because there's just no way to justify that like to a
yeah,
studio because it's so like kind of stupid financially to be like, okay, we're gonna have this, actors over here, you know, and then we're just gonna use that for like 2 minutes because then we're going here, and then in
yeah,
in a week we have to come back, it kind of makes no sense.
yeah.
But emotionally, right? Because I mean, that's kind of the thing with actors is kind of a weird thing filming out of order emotionally, and kind of like you have to like sometimes they'll start really hard, right? Like the hard emotional stuff, earlier in the day or something. And like I can't imagine that that's very easy, versus going like chronologically and letting things kind of progressively get there. It's kind of like it's definitely a luxury that's I mean, I think it works. Like it's weird because I mean, the emotion of the characters, right, is very strange. It's tonally very strange, the performances they're giving, but what's so good about the score is it, like, complements everything going on into just it kinda makes everything cohesive, along with I'll talk about the editing, but, like, the way this movie's edited with this score and I mean, now that you mentioned that they had to kind of the score was added before or they did the score before, so they kinda had to edit in where that score works is also like another huge, huge
It also
task.
makes so much sense. I think about the opening scene when they're going into the hotel room,
Yeah.
and it'll cut back and forth between her, like she takes out her phone, she's taking these things. As soon as she like enters the room, the score becomes very whimsical. I'm just like,
Mhm.
that's just like
I know.
perfectly edited to that moment.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which
It's like
normally
great.
that's like the composer kind of watching that or something and composing, writing or but that's so crazy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, God,
I also like I know you we will talk about the editing, but before even that, like the directing here is also insane. There's the I get emotional after the first couple times. The second and third time I watched it, just after meeting him, of just like knowing what kind of person he is, and the movie just feels like more intentional than most movies in a way. Like there's like something that feels way more intentional. Every camera movement I feel
Yeah.
There's a sequence where uh Sophie Thatcher is like standing over on like a balcony, and the camera kind of swoops underneath her, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
so good, and the way the score's moving with it is like beautiful. The blocking is great. Like we were talking about earlier, it's like the blocking's kind of weird at moments, especially with Charles Melton's character. The blocking's kind of weird. Um, but it's just like amazing, and we'll talk about Charles Melton's performance, which is really good, and like his mannerisms,
Yeah.
which is so cool. There's just so many minuscule details in this movie to discover, which is like why I'm glad I just saw it over. I'm probably gonna see this movie 2 or 3 more times in theaters, because this is a movie that's not gonna be in theaters very long, and
Yeah.
this just feels like a big screen movie, especially with the score like this and the colors that are going on, and just like the neon lights and the strobe, just everything. Like this is like the perfect movie for me, and I just like need to see it on a big screen.
Yeah.
Because I just feel it. Like the entire movie I'm feeling, and it just feels like a dream state the whole time, and the mist is just like a
The
great
Mist.
anecdote.
The going from like Odyssey and IMAX to this in a standard theater, I was just like, man, what if we lived in a world where this got an IMAX, like level kind of screen and audio, so I could like really
I honestly like Dolby would be great.
Dolby. Yeah, yeah.
Like
I was thinking Dolby's more realistic for sure. There's just no way this would go in IMAX, but
IMAX.
I don't know. I was just I was like so mad that I'm watching this in standard because I'm like, this just isn't big enough for how incredible this, the picture and the sound, right, are just perfect. And so, I just want that in like the absolute best thing ever, and it deserves that, but it's just not going to happen. Like even a movie theater isn't doing it justice. Where I need like I need infinity vision for this.
Well, well, my thing is like I said in my first review, I want to live in this movie. There's something super strange,
Yeah.
and I actually thanks for saying that because it reminded me. This movie reminds me a lot of Happy End, um, where you have this big city landscape, but there's like barely any people, and it creates this weird disposition, right? Where like it creates a utter loneliness
Hmm.
and a strangeness to us. Like Happy End does it in a different way, and this movie feels more surreal. I mean, you have the Tower Hotel, and I love how it's like above the mist, and they're all rich people, right? You're kind of living with these rich people, and like the feel of the hotel is just like sexy, and like I just want to live in it, and the dialogue
Yeah.
super weird, and the way they smoke cigarettes is really like cool.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
I want to live in this movie. And also the entire movie takes place basically at night, right? I don't think there's a single scene during the day, so I think it's all at night. I mean, you have like the film, like the only times that takes place during the day is when they're filming the movie, but then even then you're in a movie set,
Yeah, is that
so
even
like that
day though?
it has to be day, right? Because
Yes.
she's coming home at the end of the night. Um, but like basically the whole movie's at night, which I love movies like that. Not enough movies do that, and it creates this like loneliness and
Yeah. I mean, with the mist,
intrigue.
and you can't,
The
your
mist sounds there.
visibility is kind of, not clear. And I mean, the all the exteriors that is just like this, futuristic city. It's like, what the fuck?
From
And
the first frame, bro. They're
yeah,
from
the
the
first
first frame.
frame
You're like,
is like,
oh,
oh
you're like,
shit, he's
oh.
fucking doing this. Like he's going full fucking futuristic city, you know?
Yeah, and the
Uh,
way he's like zooming into like exteriors of a hotel,
yeah,
or like Diego Calva's like party room that he's in,
yeah.
like that scene is like, oh my gosh, like it just doesn't feel real. A lot of people thought this movie was AI, and Nicholas says that he imitated AI for a lot of like the scenes, which is like kind of cool. Like you have like the spaceship sequence, it
Hmm.
feels really fake,
Hmm.
and it feels like kind of AI. So I get why people probably would think it's AI, but I will talk about his opinion on AI because it's very strange. He's sympathetic towards it, so
Mm.
it's kind of weird. Um, but no, like I said, the directing is great. The way he's dollying on shots, the way he's zooming in at certain moments, the way he's cutting back and forth between characters and dialogue is
Yeah, the
insane.
way the dialogue is edited is so interesting. It's kinda just perfect. Like, I don't like, every cut in this movie is like, "Yes, that's exactly the moment, exactly the
You
place it
should
should be," and it just, like, keeps, doing that, and even it goes as far as to do, like, really kind of, you know, like, surreal montages or, like, these, I think this is referencing Megalopolis when he does, like, 7 dissolves in a row,
yeah.
um, and there's also, like, moments where it happens twice, I believe, but they're pretty long sequences where there's strobe and it's kind of flashing, but very
Yes.
slowly, and it'll go to black, and then it'll cut to something else, right, in the
You know what's
black.
really cool about that too is when he's doing that. So the first instance is Charles
Yeah,
Melton
Charles
walking down the
Melton.
hallway, right? So it does it, and there's a moment where it cuts to his face, and then it does the thing there, and then it goes to the back, and he's walking down the thing, and it goes again, and you're expecting it to cut again,
Yeah,
but then it comes back and it's still there, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's just so great.
Well,
Like it's like
every single
something so
time it
simple.
does that, it's a little bit like it could be the same thing or it could cut somewhere else, right? Like
Yeah,
and that's kind of, you could say that for the movie, where the movie, it could just go somewhere and unexpectedly, and it kind of makes sense, right? Because he's setting this tone where kind of like anything can happen here. We're kind of being unpredictable, and we're kind of just like taking you on this like Odyssey kind of thing, like this, like you're
yeah,
hypnotized and like we're in charge kind of thing, and this like neon cyberpunk kind of
yeah.
fucking crazy
And the
shit.
second time it happens is inside the club,
Yeah,
um, and it's just like, and you have 2 people to work with there, right? And that's really interesting how he's using blocking and shadows on these, like, strobes to cut back and forth between people. And, also what I really which is insane, I was like, they have to b have this planned out so well with the dialogue, because there's this moment where, Dominique is speaking, and she says a line that says, she says, "I'm not in the mood." And when she says she's not in the mood, the strobe lights, if it was black or is like a different type of strobe, because there's like 4 different types of strobes that are going. It's like really clear, really bright, almost really dark, and then kind of like a shadowy type of red or blue, right? And it's right on that shadowy red when she says I'm not in the mood, where you can clearly hear her speak or see her mouth move. And I think that's perfect. I'm like, she
mm,
has to say that line when that certain strobe is hitting her face,
yeah,
because any other way, like it doesn't, you don't see the emotion in that character, which is like, I just notice things like that over 3 viewings, and also I've seen this movie so many times already. Almost the entire movie, I'm saying lines of dialogue. I'm lipping, like I'm lipping the
wow,
dialogue, and the dialogue is great. I love the dialogue in this
yeah,
movie. There's something super strange about it. I think the biggest thing why I think it's so great is the delivery of
yeah.
how they're being said. Sophie Thatcher, the way she, like, changes her expressions at certain moments,
No,
I think
she's
of the
so
bed scene
good.
at the very beginning. "Meet my stepmom. Meet Dominique.
Dominique.
She's my stepmom," and like that, and, like, the way that her expression
Yeah,
changes, and I think Havana Rose, Liu
yeah,
is my favorite performance in the film. I love
interesting.
her performance. She's great. She's also very sexy, and I just, like, love her. I love the pitch of her voice. Like, it's, like, very kitty, like
Hmm.
this,
Well,
and the way
it's
she
almost
the
like
way the way she's speaking is super soft, but she's, like, saying things that are, like,
it's kind of
really weird.
condescending. She has like a little condescending tone
Yeah, she's like when
to,
she leans in, she's like, "I'll always be your evil stepmom."
yeah.
Like, stuff like that. Um, or, like, even the Stardust things. It's just, like, I don't know. The way the deliveries is done is so well.
And I could see like this is the thing where like the delivery is, it's so obviously not a naturalistic movie, right? But I think like people are so conditioned to only know naturalistic performances and dialogue. And but this, I think especially in this movie, are like I don't get how people are watching this and not understanding that it's intentionally that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
We're
think it's,
like,
like, bad writing.
yeah, where someone's like listening to that and they're like, "Oh, this is a terrible performance. They sound like fucking crazy." You know, like I it's so like it's such an easy way to get there just because it's not natural, but I don't see how any like real fucking person, and I see it so much where people are like, you know, terrible dialogue, you know, terrible performances kind of thing. Um and it's like I don't get how you sit through this movie and not get that like, oh, maybe you know, he's doing something a little
I
different.
think I think the wolf speaking is where he kinda makes it obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Like, "Okay,
Yeah,
it's obvious."
we're
And
being weird.
there's great moments, and I love, every single all 3 times I've been in the theaters, the line that gets the most laughs is after the wolf, and it's like, she goes, "Wow, that's so cool." And then everyone just starts dying
Yeah.
laughing. Or I love her character because she's super funny, like the prick thing, she goes, "Fucking prick me, bitch. Preferably in the eye." Just like things like that, it's, like,
Yeah.
so cool, and then you have, like, the duo of, like the movie feels like it kind of plays out like a fairy tale. It's almost like
Yeah.
Refn is kind of making his own fairy tale with the Leatherface,
Yeah.
and I didn't notice until the 3rd time, I don't know why, but, um, I don't know why I'm forgetting, like, that girl's name, the blonde hair girl's name.
Hunter?
Hunter. So, when Hunter is talking about, uh, how she went through a Leatherface or Leatherman, like a Leatherman rabbit hole, and she's talking about the 2 people that are always there. I For some reason, I didn't catch that the first 2 times for some reason. I'm really dumb. But then the second time I was like, "Oh, those are those 2 girls, um, that are there." Like, they're always there. And I kind of felt the fairy tale aspect of it more the 3rd time. I was like, "Oh, this is, like, actually, like this has, like, lore."
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah. It's
these 2 are, like, helping Leatherman find his daughter, but also finding another man to take down Leatherman. It's like kinda they're not good or evil is what she's
mhm.
saying. I'm
The
like, "That's
yeah,
so cool."
the Miss T, Miss S
S.
girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're
And Miss S is always doing, like, these weird
yeah.
things, and she has a great moment in the last sequence that feels so surreal, like, in the fog in hell, where she's, like, kinda moving in the distance, and she has this tip of the toes, and she's kinda easing her way. It kinda feels I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Where it's just,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just
so
kind of like, you know, there's just something beautiful about watching, like, movement. It's almost like performance art, right? The way they're kinda, like, moving so weirdly, and they'll just kinda, like, stop on a pose, you know, that's just, like, so captivating. You're like, "What the fuck is going on?" But
yeah,
I love the leather is it Leatherface?
Leatherman.
Leatherman. Leatherface is Texas Chainsaw,
Yeah,
which is, like, Refn's favorite movie. So I was
yeah.
thinking that, um, while watching I was like, "Is there a connection there?" I don't know. But, it made me think of Candyman, actually. Just kinda the way he shows up and, like, kills people. I don't know.
It's
But
a cool way he kills people, and I also
yeah.
like the lore of, like, he can only die if you cut off his hands.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, like, so
It's a
strange and
strange
cool.
metaphor, you know, I don't know if I fully understand it, but it's the so the kind of heart of the movie, I think, is tied with him where, it's like he's lost his daughter, and so he's kind of, like, trapped in the underworld, and he's kind of lost, and so, um, he basically, like he tries to find his daughter or, like is that what it is? Kind of
Well,
like
so Johnny Thunders explains it at the beginning where
yeah,
he's like, basically, it's a tragedy because he lost his daughter, and so he's, like, been there for centuries, and he's, like, trying to find his daughter, but he's forgotten who he's even looking for anymore,
yeah,
but when the myth comes, he remembers. So then every single girl that comes across his path, if it's not his daughter, he kills them,
right,
basically.
yeah. And so from that, there's that lore that's, like, kind of a through line of the film, which is interesting because there's also we kind of have 2 separate narratives going on, which one is, kind of the Sophie Thatcher and then the Charles Melton, um, plot where, Sophie Thatcher and her father, Johnny who I love Johnny. That's a crazy performance and,
Well,
like,
I like how he lights
crazy
his
thing.
match behind
Yeah,
his
he
ear.
lights no, it's like his jawline. It's I like, in
Yeah,
my head, it was like his jawline's, like,
yeah,
so sharp or something. He's just
yeah,
like
he
he
just
just
lights that
lights that
shit.
match. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so he's so cool, but they have such a complicated relationship, right? I mean,
Yeah, you
obviously.
don't fully understand the full dynamics of what's
Yeah.
going on until, like,
But
really late in
it's
the film,
so this is where Refn's the best, bro. Because his characters, he only gives you enough information, like narrative, cohesive information for you to take that and understand that this is, like, weird and complicated, and then, like, this is why I love Only God Forgives, and he just, like, kinda just then takes you and you just kinda get to watch these people and it's that context makes any situation they're in automatically interesting, right? Where I think Sophie Thatcher, so Johnny marries Sophie Thatcher's kind of like friend that's her
which is
age.
which is revealed later that they were once
Yeah.
in love with each other, which is,
Yes.
like,
And
adds
maybe
a whole
still
'nother
are,
thing.
right? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
maybe still are.
Probably still are. But as a way for she says the line where like he married her. I think he married her as a way to get closer to me, and he just doesn't understand. Or there's kind of she has lines about like when you think he's um, being
When you think he's being sincere, he is,
yeah, and when you think he's
and
upset
then
at
when he
you, he
isn't,
is. It's kind of like that thing. You're like, okay, so
he wants to impress you, but sometimes he wants to be impressed by you.
yeah.
It's like, oh my, it's like things like that is so
And
good.
they have a very emotional kind of they have so many like emotional scenes together where it's just like, yeah, fuck man, they're just like they're kind of both messed up, right? Like it's just like a messed up father and like it's
She
tough
even
to
mentions that later. She's like, "This is a really fucked up family."
yeah.
Like, she's like, "This is a
Yeah.
really fucked up family." And even Dominique in that moment, she even asks, or Sophie Thatcher's character Elle asks Dominique, and is like, um, "Why'd you like marry my father?" Basically, or like, "Did you marry my father? Did you think marrying my father would
Yeah.
get you closer to me?" And Dominique says that no, but that was kind of part of the appeal.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is like so interesting and
It's
weird
weird.
and
It's fucked
kind of makes
up.
sense.
Yeah.
But it kind of like makes sense. And it's just like they have these weird things, and the word daddy is used a lot. And I guarantee that turns a lot of people off. But I think it kind of shows the immaturity of Elle specifically. And that shows at the end of the film, which is Sophie Thatcher's like best performance, where she's going absolute
Yeah, she
ham.
goes ape shit.
Don't
Yeah.
don't bring an axe to a or don't bring a knife to an axe fight, bitch.
She just starts laughing like a fucking maniac and then like
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
and
do
you're like,
anything and like just
and then she has
runs.
a tantrum,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Dominique does this really cool
Yeah.
facial thing. She's like,
She's like, "What the
and just starts
fuck?"
walking on. Yeah.
She's almost
Just like
like
in
yeah, she's like
we could
shocked.
just we could talk about a million moments. I could go scene by scene for this movie of why the dialogue is good, why the editing is good, why the music is good, why the sound design is good, why the performances are great. Diego Calva's intro is like remarkable.
And Charles Melton. Like it
And
introduces
Charles
these
Melton.
guys who are like generational talents in my opinion. And like
Oh
when
yeah.
he introduces Charles Melton as like the bottom of his face and his fucking jawline is piercing through the screen,
Dude, he is
I'm just like,
ripped. He is a
"Oh yeah,
fucking
he
ripped
looks
man.
fucking
He's
crazy."
when he's putting on that jacket and
Yeah.
you see half of his body, you're like, God damn, bro. Fuck.
Damn it.
And I'll say something about this is so you'll notice like Charles Melton um only has a few lines in Korean at the very beginning,
Yeah.
and then he has some voiceover, and then he has that one incredible scream. Like that scream is I feel that every time I see it. Like when he does that thing with the knife or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
but you'll notice that most of the movie he's not talking. And you'll see that similarly with Mads Mikkelsen in Valhalla Rising and Ryan Gosling in Only God Forgives. Nicholas says that the reason he does that is that that's the person that he wants to be. He wishes that he never had to talk. Like he wishes he was more quiet, which is kind of funny because he's a very quiet person either way. Like he wishes he was like more quiet, and he also wishes that he had their bodies. He's like,
yeah. Yeah.
which is like
Okay.
really
Fair.
cool. Like
Don't we all?
he puts these really attractive, ripped guys who don't speak, and he's like, I want to be that, so let me make movies about that. And that's just like kind of cool. I'm just like, that's just kind of sick, and it
Yeah, and
works.
it worked because everyone talks about Drive like, "Oh, he's literally me." Like, I just wanna be Ryan
Yeah,
Gosling's character, the driver. So, I mean, it works. I Charles Melton, I mean, okay, we talked about, like, the Sophie Thatcher complicated father relationship, where, like, it's a bad father, right? Who maybe, like, just doesn't give her Dominique has a line where she straight up tells her, like, "That's why your, like, dad isn't around because she sees all the bad parts in you of him, and it, like, makes him not wanna be around you." It's like, "Fuck, dude, that's so sad." And, so there's a very, like, bad father probably, right? And then Charles Melton, on the other hand, is this kind of father who has lost his daughter in the mist and is looking for her and kinda doesn't care. One of my favorite probably my favorite line in the movie is where, um he does the thing where he gives his US Army lighter. He's a US soldier, and he gives his army lighter to the
compliments of Uncle Sam.
yeah, compliments of Uncle Sam, and the guy goes, "Who is that?" And the shop owners goes, "He's the saddest man ever," or something like that. And then it just cuts to Charles Melton, like, walking away, and it's like, damn, I don't know, it's awesome. I don't know.
It's so
And
good.
yeah, Charles Milton doesn't talk, and I think those performances in Refn's movies are my favorite, especially this one because Charles Milton is my favorite performance of the movie, I think. Um, and it's because I think he has such a physicality to him. Like, it's such a physical performance that even when he's not fighting, like right when he enters, he's in his army uniform and he's just kind of like straightening it out constantly and like standing up
He's always
straight.
straightening out,
Yeah, and just kind
always
of
combing his hair,
combing his hair
always
and that
combing.
shit. And I'm just like, man, this guy is a movie star. Why isn't he in every single movie? You could put him in every single movie there is right now,
Oh
and he
yeah,
would be the best part of that
yeah.
movie. Like, I'm not kidding.
Oscar, Oscar
He should win
performance
an
here.
Oscar for this movie. I'm gonna campaign for him. It'll happen.
Sophie Thatcher should win an
Yeah.
Oscar for this movie.
Bro, everyone should
Nicholas,
fucking win. Nicolas
the,
Refn production
yeah,
design should win. The score should fucking win.
Pino should win. Oh my
Pino should
gosh.
win. It shouldn't even be a debate, and it's crazy because it won't even get nominated. Like, this won't get nominated.
Oh, it's not even a thought. It won't.
Yeah, it's not a thought, and it's like, why? It's such a scam, bro. Like, this industry sucks. No, I don't know. I'm
Look
just
forward to our next year's Oscar or
yeah,
choices because we're gonna choose everything Her Private Hell because this is a movie of a decade. It's
yeah,
insane. But yeah, I do love the the two different storylines, and they have a cool little mesh between them. It's when Sophie Thatcher puts on his like he finds Charles Melton's like leather jacket in his dad's room with the lighter, and then she starts kind of like dreaming of it. And then almost everything Charles Melton is like a dream. There's even a sequence Sophie Thatcher's in the mist, and then there's a cool pan shot of Charles Melton walking by with sunglasses, smoking a cigarette, and he's like walking really slow, and it just like moves like that, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And it even cuts back to like Sophie Thatcher dreaming mid-sequence, of Charles Melton's plot line, and I love how they kind of conjoin. What I kind of noticed on the third time is what I noticed the first two times. It's pretty obvious. Spoilers here for the ending. But when Sophie Thatcher cuts off Leatherman's
mhm,
hands and he kind of fades away, which is great. I mean, I love the light coming out of Leatherman's eyes and hands. It's just like insane. And it has like the score has this big like crescendo that's like insane. And there's a million moments at the end that's like remarkable. Especially like the part that makes me cry. Like I was like near tears all three times is when Charles Melton's bloody hand is reached out into the frame, and then his daughter's gold hand kind of like
yeah,
holds onto it, and then it cuts to Charles Melton, who was in that leather jacket, and it fades him back into his Private K outfit, and then he just kind of motions, and his daughter holds his hand, and they just fade away, and then you're just like, oh my god, and then Sophie Thatcher's just there, just like kind of seeing like that's a good father, right? But the thing that always interested me is at the very end when they say, if you put on these gloves, you'll find what you're looking for, right? And it's the Leatherman's gloves. And then Sophie Thatcher has like a great kind of you don't know what she's thinking expression on her face and then just ends. When I was re-watching the movie the third time, I've really tried to like hunker down on the metaphor of what
I have
everything's
a
happening.
theory.
Leatherman is her father, is basically what I came to the conclusion to. Like
Okay.
Leatherman is Johnny Thunders. Um, and it's kind of like how she's always talking about how he's always trying to fuck younger girls to get closer to her. It's because the mist isn't there, right? He's kind of like forgotten. So maybe his like natural instinct is to do these kind of weird things. But then as soon as the mist comes, Johnny Thunders leaves pretty quickly, right? He like leaves and he's not seen again.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because he has the leather jacket in his room. It's like, why is that there? And then the other thing too is like it kind of makes sense that he's searching for her, right? He kind of leaves and then he's in the mist and then maybe he's searching for her. And then when when like he kind of found her right at the end, like he kind of found her, and like Elle's character kind of understands a lot more about like what being a true father is in a way, right? And so then the thing that I'm so confused about is you'll find what you're looking for. Does she have a daughter? Does she have like I'm trying to think about this, and obviously she doesn't have a daughter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what could she possibly need those gloves for? But they were talking in the Q&A how one part of the story, which is mostly like Charles Melton's side of the story, is very like the themes are pretty obvious. But with Sophie Thatcher's kind of storyline, it's really a mist in your brain, right? You don't know kind of where it relates. There's weird things there's like more extravagant things like dialogue wise and tonal things wise that are super weird that make the ending kind of ambiguous. But it doesn't really matter to me because I feel it.
Right. I think you
I
feel that
feel it.
like she's affected by everything going on and like something,
Yeah.
you know, maybe like sinister is going forward, right? Like I don't know. I kind of
It's
think
like her reaction to Nico and Dominique like kind of playing after she gets rejected by Dominique is her first reaction is to go fuck Nico,
yeah.
which she does, and it's kind of like a revenge thing, right? She goes back
Yeah.
and is like, "Do you taste the soap?" And then it
Yeah.
just becomes this whole big thing. You can see the insecurity in her face when
Mhm.
Dominique he like says straight to her, "It's like I don't want you." And then you
Yeah.
can see Sophie Thatcher's like kind of face breakdown, like she's
Yeah.
just broken. She doesn't have a father. She doesn't have a mother because her mother is literally the girl that she loves, which is probably super strange for her, you know? And then she's kind of left in this hellscape. And then Miss T and Miss S are kind of there and they're like, you're special. And you can kind of see like a relief in
Mhm.
like her body language. Like there's a relief, there's like a sigh that she does. And it's like, oh, yeah. And maybe
Mhm.
she does become more sinister because of that. She has nothing else to like hold her emotions to. It's
Yeah.
so
I don't
ambiguous
know.
and strange.
I think I was just trying I think my head was just that
Yeah,
more
what's your
of
theory?
it's like the well, I don't know. I just figured it was something more along the lines of like because even with the Dominique stuff and all everything kind of bad that happens, and the way she acts like fucking Nico for revenge or something like that, it's kind of like, do you blame Dominique or like who's kind of or I'm like Johnny is setting this system up, right? I think it's kind of a like it connects to like the father daughter, right? And um so it's kind of a I think it's kind of like a she's somehow just traumatized by these things happening and kind of just takes on like you know I think she doesn't change for the better, you know? I don't know if I have, like, a super optimistic view on, like, her side of the story just because of, I think Charles Melton's is because he is a good father and, like, he leads with, you know, he just wants his daughter back, and, like, her story's different, but, I mean, I don't really know. It's very vague where it kind of is like a it's kind of a trip.
It's like a feeling.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
relating to the ending, this is the biggest thing that I took away from the Q&A, and he had mentioned it at Cannes. I don't know if you have saw, like, the Cannes interview he did, like, the press conference. So Nicolas Winding Refn a couple years ago had a his blood was running
Yes,
backwards in
yeah.
his heart,
I
and so
wanted to
he
talk
died for
about
25
this.
minutes. So he died for 25 minutes, and that's a very interesting thing to know before you go into this movie. Like, this kind of feels like, to me, this is his magnum opus. You see it almost all of his movies in this film, and it's just like perfectly Nicholas. And
Yeah.
it's so amazing that this is the first movie he does after he like survives death. And he was talking about it very sweetly and calmly
Mhm.
of how he took it as a second chance to keep on living. And you see like his next two movies look sick as fuck as
Yeah,
well.
right.
Like they look great as well.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think and he also said this is him entering a new era of like this is the type of movies he's going to be making now, which is like
Oh my god.
great. Thank
Crazy.
you. Thank you that you're here. Thank
Yeah.
God for keeping you alive. He also did a funny thing, like kind of off base where he was like, "Oh yeah, and there's nothing down there." He's like, "There is no heaven or hell. It's darkness."
Yeah.
and then and then the Q&A guy was like, "Well, thanks for ruining all of our thinking about the
Because
afterlife."
he died, right? So he's like,
Yeah, he died for
actually, right.
25 minutes,
Dude, that's fucking crazy that he said that I
which is
can.
insane.
Um,
Um, also, he said that, he didn't wanna do the open heart surgery, and then, as soon as the heart surgeon came in, he came in wearing a leather suit for he's a, like, motorcycle like, a motorcycle outfit with a tinted thing, and he took it off, and he had slicked back black hair, and he was like, "You know what? I'm fine doing the heart surgery." As soon as he saw that guy, he's like, "I
oh
felt
my
safe."
god.
And then during the open heart surgery, he said that they allowed him to film it. So he says, "I know what I look like on the inside."
This guy is what a fucking crazy guy.
He's so cool.
Um,
And he also the first thing he mentioned is like, the Q&A guy was like, "Yeah, so uh, this movie's pretty sadistic. Like people are calling this movie really sadistic, and like you very sadistic. Do you like that?" And he literally all he said was, "I love sadistic," and just put down the microphone.
that's
And
funny.
everyone's like start laughing. He's like, he just like loves that weird, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And he also said something funny where he was like, I like change. Everything in my life changes except I've been with one girl my entire life. He's like, I've been with one girl my entire life. Everything else
That's
I'm
actually
unfazed.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he has this woman and then everything else,
That's
like
actually,
it
like,
can change.
very, very sweet. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah, I think this movie is kind of like I mean, in some sense, it's about, like, because it's kind of like protect your daughters, like, keep them close, right? Like, keep them very close, or else the fucking mist is gonna take them away.
or
Um,
I think what Johnny Thunder says is he says, protect your daughters or he will,
yeah. Yeah, okay, right. Um,
regarding the Leatherman.
which is like, I don't know. It's maybe a thing where he's in a world and has, you know, women in his family, and he feels like the need to protect them in a dangerous world. He's made movies about, you know, kind of, you know, like how the world is difficult for women. And so I think there's that, but also maybe like for him kind of dying and realizing what's important. It's like, oh man, like these relationships are like really important, and then this is and then to him like to try to put like portraying that through this movie is crazy, you know?
I think that's what makes the ending so emotional for me, especially with Charles Milton's like
Yeah,
conclusion.
yeah,
Is it's just like I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It's just
yeah.
like super sweet and like you can't help but like getting a tear to your eye because it kind of feels like NWR coming back to life and reaching out his hand and his
Well,
daughter's
because
grabbing his hand
it's
like
like he
he
thought he was
found
gone.
them
He
and
thought his daughter was gone,
yeah,
right?
like
But he
stuff like
kept
that.
fighting.
Yeah, you fight for your
And
family and
yeah, it's
you'll
very
get whipped for your
sweet.
family and all that stuff and it's just like dang bro. It's and there's just amazing set pieces. I have to ask you, what's your favorite scene in the movie?
I don't know. Like maybe the Charles Melton fight scene with the fat guy
Yeah.
is
Dude, that the
awesome.
music there is so good. As
The
soon as the
music is so
jukebox comes on
good.
and he's like
Um,
bumping his belly.
I love how it's edited. Like I just fucking like that. Every scene is just like when he goes in the jukebox and then it cuts to like behind the jukebox and
Bro,
uh
there's no way you like The Odyssey more than this movie. You're lying to yourself. You need to rewatch
dude,
this
the
movie, and
Odyssey is you
I
know,
think I think if I rewatch this movie a fourth or fifth time, I'm gonna give it that 4.5.
I mean, I agree, but I also kind of it's it's I mean, they're so different. Like I love them for like very different reasons. Or whatever. I don't want to talk
Yeah,
about the Odyssey. But and my favorite scene, maybe that one. I kind of love I actually really love when they're in like the spaceship, movie. I Because at that point it's kind of just like takes you aback and it looks like crazy. I was kind of even thinking like this looks cooler than every sci-fi movie in
yeah.
the 21st century.
It made me think. I was like, I want to see a sci-fi movie from him, like
Oh,
just a
yeah.
full-blown
Yeah.
sci-fi
I
film.
mean, this is technically, but like a
This is,
like a
I was also thinking, I was like, this is probably him. Like he wants to do that genre, but he doesn't do a full movie of it, so he's just gonna put a little thing in there. He's like,
yeah.
okay, I did sci-fi.
Well, it's kinda not him. Like, this is kind of like
Yeah, no,
it's hard to make like a real like B-movie sci-fi thing
yeah,
with Refn style because he's just kinda like slow, kinda like people and, shit.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. What's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is like every single time I'm like the whole movie I'm thinking about I because I know the movie so well I'm thinking okay this scene's gonna happen after and I can feel my heart rate racing as soon as the wolf talking starts happening because I know my favorite scene's coming up of them in the club and like the sex scene.
Yeah, this
So
it's one of like the greatest sex scenes I think I've ever seen.
So I love the intro to that scene where it's like, Nico, what happens at Animal Night or Costume Night or whatever, right? And then he doesn't even answer and just cuts to him pushing the button in the elevator and the way that the camera's moving and Nico turns his head, which leads you to Dominique, and then you go over to L, and then L looks at Hunter, and then you enter, and then the Julian Winding music starts bumping, and then you're in the strobe, right?
Mhm.
And then you see Charles Milton kind of being there as a ghost, which we haven't even talked. They told him is like in order to catch a ghost, you have to become a
Mhm.
ghost.
Yeah.
So the whole thing of him being there is that he has to be a ghost and kind of watch the Leatherman kill someone where he can't intervene, and that's how he gets to hell, basically, right?
Mhm.
Like that's which is great character and exposition, right? But the whole strobe light thing is so cool. The way that the strobes are moving and the editing there is insane. And then the sex scene is just great. I love how the music explodes when Hunter dies, when when Leatherman pulls her thing and her head goes up and she goes, "Daddy," and then the music just goes crazy. It just hits this huge chorus of just boom, and then the blood there, and they're still having sex. It just like feels so surreal, like the blood being there, and then them having sex, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's shot so well, and then I just love that scene so much. I also love at the very beginning when they're going up in the elevator and the pink lighting behind L is just gorgeous. In that the production design and like the world that he creates here is amazing. Like you even have when she's going after the sex scene before she's like um the whole climax between her and Dominique happen, the camera swoops in to Dominique sleeping on the couch and you can see the whole city with the mist and the moon is there. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I also love the shot of Dominique in bed with the gold hands,
Yeah.
like her just kind of being
Right.
there and stretching out in a weird way. That's like, oh, that's kind of, I just kind of love moments like that where Elle's eyes are kind of moving and it's almost like she's watching that, like she's thinking of that, of like her father gets to have sex with her and I can't kind of thing. And she's
Yeah.
super sexy. And um, yeah, it's just insane. I also love Charles Melton's scream when he comes in.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's like an emotional thing, and I also love how he jumps over that wall. It's like so like it's so unrealistic of he's like gliding over the like this
Yeah,
tall
yeah,
wall.
yeah. That I remember that. Yeah, that was like
Yeah,
he's just so it's such a
it's
man,
so
the
cool.
physicality of his performance I keep thinking about. It's so amazing. Is this
There's even like the shot of his jaw underneath, and then even of Leatherman when he's turning inside the hotel room, looking up at the stairwell, and you can see the Leatherman's like sparkly jawline, and it's
Mhm.
all black. And I'm like, oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
And like Leatherman's like pink eyes too, with the mist behind him, and
Yeah.
it's like lighting up his eyes. There's just so many
There's
cool
so many
things that are
crazy shit happening in this movie at all
it's
times.
amazing. It's
Is
amazing.
this your favorite Nicolas Winding Refn?
Yes. Yeah. It
I
was the first time I watched it too. Is it yours?
Yes, it is. I think
So
it is.
I think it's just like I said, it's his magnum opus. I think
Yeah.
I see Valhalla Rising in this. I see obviously like Only God Forgives, Neon Demon especially. Um, I even see some of the Pusher trilogy in here, which you're yet to see. Um, yeah, Drive. There's a lot of moments in Drive that kind of remind me of this. Someone commented a review and gave it a Megalopolis Folia Do. And I was like, yep. And I love both those movies. And that's kind of the pinnacle of like what
Right.
this movie is like. It's, yeah, this is like miracle filmmaking. And only he could do this type of thing. And we
And
need
just
filmmakers like this in 2026.
great sense of talent to bring in this cast too. I mean,
Yeah,
Charles
it kind of feels like they all fit. Like it's like, oh, of course they would cast Charles
yeah,
Melton. Of course,
Diego
Sophie Patrick.
Calva, right? It's like
His intro is like again, his intro is just insane. The music
and
of turning his head is like fucking nuts, and the way he speaks too.
we didn't even
I
talk
love you.
about Hidetoshi Nishijima
Yeah,
from
the
Drive
lead of
My
Drive My
Car.
Car.
Like
What the fuck?
where it's like how did he get I don't know how he got him for
It's so
this
cool.
kind of small role,
Well,
right? And
a lot of people don't even like think of NWR as this director. He's like a big director. Like a lot of people want to work with this guy.
yeah.
You know, like he's the guy that made Mads Mikkelsen, right? Mads Mikkelsen has a career because of
And
this guy. They were friends growing up in Denmark.
I mean, he made
They started with
Drive.
Pusher.
That's probably been fueling
Yeah,
his career for a
no, for
while.
sure, for
Um,
sure.
I mean that
And it's cool.
movie's so much more popular than like every other movie he has.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty bizarre. Like that movie's just so mainstream. Um, where
actually
like
rewatching it, it doesn't feel like that though. It doesn't feel super mainstream. I mean, I guess it's the
in the
most
culture
mainstream.
it is like
It's the most mainstream Nicholas Winding Refn movie for sure. But I still see a lot of stylistic and experimental stuff going on there.
right.
That's
But
like
I
really
just mean like
fun.
in like
Like,
culturally, like it is
yeah, in
like
culture.
so
Yeah.
popular. Like
Yeah.
this is very like commonplace, kind of film bar movie even. And then the next most popular, at least on Letterboxd, is the Neon Demon, which is like I I don't
Yeah,
know
so you have
anyone in real
Drive with
life.
2.8 million members, and then you have Neon Demon, which is next, which is not even at 500,000.
Right. It's
Huge
interesting.
gap.
Um, and then Only
Huge
God
gap.
Forgives, which like I can't imagine a lot of people just generally watching that movie, right? Other
Man, that
than
movie has a
Ryan Gosling.
3.0 average. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is a 2.3 average we're talking about, so
Yeah.
um,
Only God Forgives kind of feels more digestible though, for sure.
it's
This is
still,
the
I mean,
least like
more digestible, but that's
Her Private Hell is his least digestible film for
yeah, it's
sure.
kind of a bad comparison because this movie is just kinda so out there, but, I mean,
Yeah.
Only God Forgives is still, like, really slow and kinda has the same, like, lack of information, um, and plot. Um, and Sophie Thatcher finally in a good movie, I just gotta shout out
Yeah,
Sophie
I was
Thatcher.
texting Luke because I looked at, Luke's review for Companion, which he does not like. I think he have it at, like, a 1 star or something, and he said, "Put Sophie Thatcher in a good movie," so I screenshotted it and sent it to Luke, and I was like, "You got your wish."
I
And,
actually
I'm
did.
glad you actually liked
I
this. It
know.
would've been really embarrassing if you didn't like this movie, but I knew you were gonna like this movie.
Right, yeah.
This is, like, the one movie where, like, "Oh, there's no way Luke doesn't like
Yeah,
this." Like,
this
it's
it's a
so
very Luke
megalopolis.
movie, like, it's
It's a very Luke movie.
um,
Um
yeah, and I mean, literally the only other movie of hers that I like is called The Boogeyman, which is, like,
Oh, I
definitely
haven't
not a
seen that.
great movie, I people really don't like that movie generally, I just, like, I don't know, I kinda liked it. Um, and then it's, like, fucking Companion, Maxine,
Heretic is fine.
Heretic. Heretic's, like, fine, but it's, like, I don't know.
I think she's good in it. She's good
Yeah,
in it.
she's good in it. I'm just like for like
Yeah,
putting her in a good movie with like real
yeah.
like put her like get a filmmaker to put her in a movie. I don't know.
You know what the real star of the show is, though? Is Sophie Thatcher's lip. Her upper lip is, like,
Yeah,
a whole nother level. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something so sexy where it kinda looks like it's pulled up a little bit
it is.
in
She's
the
very
middle,
like
and it's
yeah.
like
It's just like a full
it's
circle.
perfect. I'm like, "Oh," like,
And Charles
there's so many.
Melton, it's kind of same thing where it's like
Well, Charles Melton hasn't been in a lot of shit. I
yeah,
was thinking, after I rewatched May December with my mom, I was thinking, "Where is Charles Melton?" Like, he obviously started with Riverdale, that's how everyone knows him,
I
and then
didn't
it's
know
like,
that.
oh, yeah, he is, like, one of the
Okay.
lead guys in
Yeah.
Riverdale,
Well, that's
so
like kind of like Jacob Elordi and like what the kissing booth, like that kind of
yeah,
vibe.
yeah,
Like they just
um,
got to get their start.
but it's like, he did May December, and I still think he should have won an Oscar for that movie,
Generational performance. Absolutely
Generation,
generational
and
performance.
he didn't even get nominated, so it's, like, one of the
Uh,
biggest busts ever in Oscar
yeah.
history,
Yep.
and then I was thinking, "Okay, what else has he been in?" Like, was he in Warfare?
Yep. He's in Warfare. And then Beef and looks like Bad
Yeah,
Boys for Life. He was in a Gia Coppola movie.
because I keep seeing him in these, like, Gucci commercials, like, these
Oh,
Gucci shoe
really?
commercials,
Interesting.
and I'm like, "Dude, do a movie." And then he does this movie, and I hope, like, more auteurs see this, that, like, auteur directors that love this movie see this and start putting him in more, like, niche, really fun shit instead of,
Right.
like, big blockbuster stuff.
Well,
You
he's
know,
no, put him in big honestly, put him in big blockbuster stuff. Like,
no, yeah,
don't get him trapped
I'm
in the MCU, but, like, put him in, like,
yeah.
a fucking big, like, blockbuster movie as a fucking leading man because
You
he's
know what this feels
perfect.
like? This feels like Paul Mescal type shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where Paul Mescal was like an after sun, and obviously that movie was like a big thing, but it
yeah,
kind of felt small at the time. And like doing that, and then Paul Mescal's like the lead of Gladiator 2, and now he's a Beatle.
yeah,
And it's
right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
let's put
Where's
Charles
Charles
Melton in some
Melton's Gladiator 2? Like, that's my
yeah.
question. Like,
Put
yeah,
him in
that
a Ridley Scott movie. Put him in a Ridley
seriously,
Scott
put him
movie.
in
I
a
would
Ridley
love that.
Scott movie, please. That would be my shit, dude. Oh my god,
Yes.
yes. Alright. Let's,
I
we'll
could talk
wrap it
about this
up
movie
there.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I would say, like, don't look at the reviews on Letterbox and, like, the scale of the thing and be like, "Oh, this is a shit movie." Go try it out. Go support like a smaller movie like this, especially it kind of is bad timing because the Odyssey is out right now, right? And everyone would rather
Yeah.
go see the Odyssey than this movie.
You
But
already saw
honestly,
The
I'm
Odyssey,
really
go see a new
you already
movie.
saw the Odyssey. Yeah. I I I'm actually really excited for this like next month. There's a lot of really good movies I'm really excited for that are coming out. Like
Yeah. Spider-Man.
Sheep in the Box. I'm seeing Spider-Man. I Want Your Sex. I'm really excited for. I was actually looking. I rewatched our most anticipated episode, and I was looking through, and I saw that you predicted the Odyssey a 4-star,
Ooh,
and I predicted the Odyssey a 3.5, so pretty
ooh,
close
yeah.
there. And then what else did we predict? You almost predicted everything right. You gave Day a 4, and also you gave I Want Your Sex a 4. So I think if this is
Okay.
if Luke is right about himself,
Yeah,
I Want Your Sex might get some heat here,
that's
which I'm
funny.
really
I
excited
don't
for.
remember that at all. That's cool. Oh yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see. Um, all right.
yeah.
Yes.
Next week will be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be something. Okay, that will wrap up Her Private Hell. Like on YouTube, rate 5 stars on Spotify. Thank you. And now, what'd you watch this week?
Okay, I watched a shit ton, so I'll try to go quick again. I'm almost at 400 movies this year, so
Holy shit.
I'm rocking and rolling. I'm 5 movies away. So first, I went to go see Her Private Hell in theaters, and this is really funny. So I got off of work at 5 p.m. I got dinner with a coworker. I saw Her Private Hell Q&A here in Austin. Got to meet him, all that stuff. My adrenaline was racing. Then I drove straight to Dallas. So I drove 3 hours in the middle of the night, and that kept me watching that Q&A kept me awake because my adrenaline was super high. And then at 2:30 a.m. that night, without sleep, I watched the Odyssey in 70 millimeter IMAX, crazy screen. When I walked in, I was like, God damn. I was like, fuck. And we had a great like intro by the manager of the Cinemark there. And he showed us like what 24 frames of film looks like. And he goes, end of your movie. It's 11 miles long, 800 pounds of film back up there. The screen is 5 stories tall by 7 stories wide. So it's fucking massive.
Jesus Christ.
And I was sitting 4th or 3rd row. And so my neck hurt like a motherfucker. But it was a packed theater at 2:30 a.m. The energy was high. Rewatching the Odyssey, I appreciate, especially after our conversation, I appreciate a lot of things more. I appreciate the acting a lot more. I appreciated Christopher Nolan's filmmaking a lot more. I was stunned by the aerial shots in particular, especially like with that big of a camera, you doing aerial.
Sure. Oh,
Unfortunately, I'm still rough on the dialogue and the journey aspect of it all and the actual like progression of the movie, to where I still feel pretty stagnant about it, where like my opinions didn't really change. I really wanted to like it. I honestly am just like kind of giving hope of like a third rewatch boosting my score, especially I saw it in 70 millimeter IMAX. I don't think
yeah.
anything's gonna go up to that. The best part of the movie was seeing the 5 or 7 minute Dune Part 3 clip, which is nuts. It looks so different, guys. Like it looks completely different. There's a grain on the film. It's really dark. There's rain. The sound design is insane. Like it's loud as fuck. And it's like a whole different level. The Denis Villeneuve is getting really close on the actors' faces. There's big ships, and it just feels so. I'm so excited for Dune Part 3. Like it just looks like a masterpiece. I think it might be the best one, and it just looks
I agree.
incredible. And it started with like a thing where it's like, I want to thank Christopher Nolan for allowing for me to show this to you guys. Only you guys are seeing it. Signed, Denis Villeneuve. And I was like, and then everyone in the theater was like, yeah. Where like everyone's like starts cheering.
Oh my
They're
god.
getting excited, and then it goes quiet as soon as the first frame happens, and my eyes were like, oh my god, this looks insane.
Yeah.
Because it's also filmed mostly in IMAX film as well, so it just looks absolutely insane. And then I watched like the Odyssey, the making of an epic, which is cool. Doesn't show enough, honestly. And then I watched Made of Air, the short film by Paul Clipson. And so I have to inform you guys, it is now my favorite movie of all time. So if it's better than Worst Person in the World, I think it's the greatest thing I've ever watched in my entire. Made of Air by Paul Clipson is the pinnacle of cinema, in my opinion. There's nothing comparing it to it. The entire 14 minutes, I was weeping, crying. So I was like, my eyes hurt by the end of it. I was just like, holy! I could barely see the screen. I was seeing the beautiful editing through a waterfall. I was like crying. It just made me so emotional. Perfect experimental short. It's like what I love about Stan Brakhage and Phil Solomon, but adding music to it, which is like what I always wanted. You know what I mean? Where I'm always like, man, I wish there was music. I hate like I understand how they're different and how it's like okay they kind of want to do it without sound, and I made a short film without sound because of them, right? Like they inspired me to do that, but like them like Paul Clipson putting like a curated song to it just like made it absolutely insane. And it's just it feels very similar to like what I kind of made with my short film with like you see the hand over some like montages stuff, and but I mean the editing is way better than me. I can never do that shit. Like it's there's some movement in that film that's insane,
Yeah.
and so I'm glad I watched that shit. It's so insane. And then I watched The Amazing Spider-Man for the first time.
Good segue there.
Yeah, I went straight from that. uh yeah, I mean it's actually kind of fine. I think that what holds this one together in particular is the romance of it. And I actually think it's kind of like the right kind of goofy. I think Andrew Garfield has that kind of right kind of goofiness to this character. It's obviously way different. I obviously prefer Sam Raimi's take on it of like it not being as goofy in a way. This is like overtly goofy,
Interesting.
where it's like in your face goofy type of thing. Um, Kind
Okay.
of like the Tom Holland ones are.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the romance really held together. I got some like my heart was racing at some character moments of like them looking at each other, and it's also interesting because you know that they're dating at that time too, which is like kind of cool. And then Spider-Man 2 is just absolute ass. It's way worse. I think the CGI on Jamie Foxx is like absolutely horrendous. It's like one of the worst CGI things ever, and I don't care about his. I don't care about either villain in this movie. Like it's just not good. And I think the whole climax, like Gwen Stacy's gonna die, right? And then her actual death scene is just like that's it. She hits her head on the floor. It's like really dumb, and it doesn't impact me at all. And I'm just like a really really bad movie, and it's like actually like worse edited. And I see more of Mark Webb in this movie, which actually is a bad thing. I see more Mark Webb in this, and they're like, ugh. I don't think Mark Webb's the director for Spider-Man film, especially when he's adding like this weird music. There's a weird spot in the middle of the film where you have this like coming of age song during a montage of him putting up all these posters on his wall trying to find out how his father died. Super strange. And I watched Glengarry Glen Ross. Great, I'll talk about it later. And then I watched Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot by Gus Van Sant. Yeah, I don't like when Gus Van Sant does like these traditional like biopic-y type of stuff. I prefer him when he's more experimental, like Paranoia Park and Elephant. This movie just feels like it's like the most bland thing ever, and like the acting is like fine. I think Jonah Hill actually outperforms Joaquin Phoenix in this movie, which is kind of surprising. Jonah Hill has like a moment at the end of the film where he's like crying, and it's like really sad, and I'm like, oh, I feel that. And it's all about like addiction, and Jack Black has a cool part in it as well. It kind of fits his kind of character. And then I watched this is insane. I can't believe I watched this movie. This feels in tandem watching Satan Tango with you, Luke, where this kind of felt like a major film. And I
Oh
watched
yeah.
L'Amour Fou. I watched L'Amour Fou by Jacques. So it's a 4 hour and 15-minute long film, and I started it at around like 10 p.m. or something. So I was up till like 2:30 watching this movie, and it's just so major. I just like couldn't believe what I was. I can't even explain the movie. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, I even implore you to read my review, Luke, because it's the best review I've ever written. It's a long ass review.
Yeah, I
I'm sorry.
saw it. It was very
But
long.
so what I had to do, I realized so many
Oh,
cool things happening. What?
you cut out a little bit.
Okay. Are we good now?
Yeah.
I realized pretty early on that there's so many things happening that every hour I just had to write a review because I knew by the end of the 4 hours I wasn't going to be able to like get all my feelings in one spot. So I did like an hourly thing where I paused the movie. It also like made the longness of the film kind of work for me. I'm just kind of sitting there and kind of it made me reflect on the hour of film I just watched, and it's just like, holy fuck, this is like a masterpiece, and it's just so good. And Boule Auger is like gorgeous. She's like probably the prettiest girl I've ever seen on film. Like she's in almost every Jack Rivette movie, and this one it just like kind of brings it all together. It's this movie's like an odyssey of what Jack Rivette is, and it's perfect because I'm watching Out One next month. God Rest My Soul, which is a 13-hour long film, and so I this kind of feels like what I've heard is like this is a great stepping stone before you watch Out One. Um, Kind of similar thing, and if it's anything like L'Amour Fou, I'm really excited for Out One. Sorry to be that pretentious douchebag that thinks a 13-hour film about nothing is better than Endgame, but then I rewatched Her Private Hell, and then I went home and I was like, I'm gonna watch a double Hell, so I watched a Mandy, and I'm not huge on Mandy anymore. It was a four
Yeah,
and a
what
half
happened
star.
there?
So I think after rewatching Her Private Hell and after going like through a year of film, and Her Private Hell was kind of perfect because it's kind of helping me understand like what kind of filmmaking, especially digital filmmaking, I'm kind of liking.
Mhm.
Especially like since watching Mandy, I've rewatched Megalopolis and I like it a lot more. I'm kind of shaping my tune to being like, oh, these are the type of movies like I like, right? I'm liking M. Night more. I like Paul W.S. Anderson. I like these kind of movies like Megalopolis and Joker Folia Do or shit like that, right? And Mandy is really, really good for most of it, but it's kind of soulless. When you think about it in like the context of like Her Private Hell is able to create this tone, which Mandy does super well, creates this tone, and the soundtrack's amazing by Johan. It's like, okay, like at the beginning, it's like, oh, this is great. But then as you get deeper and deeper, you realize how like it's kind of a nothing film where it's kind of like, oh, this is just a basic revenge film that's really doing nothing emotionally for me. And it also feels like Nicolas Cage is like he actually has a really funny scene where he's in the bathroom and he's like chugging alcohol and he's like crying and he's like trying to get it down, and that's really good. Nicolas Cage is great in it, and it has like great shots and it's beautifully lit, and it has like this really cool acid sequence where the frame is kind of split up while she's on acid, which is really cool. But other than like the visual aspect of it, the story itself, like the narrative, I don't attune to super well. And I also got felt the runtime a lot. Like I was like, man, this is like really slow, and like it's weird because Her Private Hell is slow, but I am intrigued the whole time. This one's like not grasping my attention. So yeah. And then right after that, I was like, you know what, I need to watch Her Private. The next day, I
Yeah.
rewatched Her Private Hell, and then after that, I did a double feature with Opera by Dario Argento. At the beginning of the film, I was thinking 5 star, and then it just kind of hit some holes where I'm like, okay, it's kind of getting predictable in these ways where the beginning was like super fun. And I was like, holy shit, there's some great, like the camera movement in this is insane. I generally don't understand how they do POV shots, especially like upstairs where it feels like that. They must be like programming the crane because there's no way it's handheld. They must be programming the crane to like do certain movements, kind of like how Kane Parsons does. Like he programs movements within Blender to make it look like handheld. I guarantee you they're doing like some crane footage where they're kind of making it move in a certain pace rather than just like straight up. They're kind of building it up like that. But it's just like so stylistic and cool, and the crows are amazing. The opening shot with the crow
Mhm.
with the eye is like, oh my gosh. It's like the music. She's gorgeous. I've never seen her in a film, but the lead actress is gorgeous. And I also love the dialogue. I just love how weird these like Giallo movies feel with dialogue. I can never tell if they're
Well,
dubbed or not.
no, they're dubbed. They're, like, severely dubbed.
But this one's strange because they're actually like they're saying the words. Like I see them mouthing like
So,
the
it'd be
dub is
sometimes
matching
I
the
think they have them speak in English and then, but they're still ADR'd, like, pretty
oh,
heavily.
okay.
But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sometimes they'll just straight up be in Italian speaking in Italian because the
Yeah, yeah.
actor doesn't know, like, any English, or
That's what I've witnessed with like Inferno in particular. But like in this one, it kind of seemed to me like they were speaking English and they still dubbed it.
Yeah, it
That's,
is.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
mix. But, it's
I
kind of
love that.
like it teaches you to kind of realize that that shit just, like, doesn't matter.
No, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think it adds to it. I think it's a whole different like I think Giallo does it the best. Like that's kind of what works for them. And then right after that, last night I did a triple feature of Phil Solomon's GTA in Memoriam trilogy, um, which is like a great late night watch. It's insane. It feels like a dream, and I don't understand how Phil Solomon achieves some shots in GTA like this. I was even looking through the comments. It's like some guys were like, "I've tried making films in GTA. I don't understand how Phil Solomon is filming this. Like, it's
That's
like a
funny.
literally impossible how he's doing some shit." And I know you've seen Last Days in a Lonely Place, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Rehearsals for Retirement or Still Raining,
Yeah.
Still Dreaming?
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. I've seen not I've of the ones you've seen, I've only seen Last Days in a Lonely Place, but I've seen one of his other I've seen Crossroad.
Yeah, Crossroad is so this is Crossroad he made with Mark Lepore, and that's what this trilogy is about. Mark Lepore died shortly after making Crossroad with him, and so then this trilogy is basically like his ode to like in Still Raining, Still Dreaming. The last sequence is like a cemetery in GTA
Mm,
with like these like haunting bells. Um,
cool.
but Last Days in a Lonely Place is fucking remarkable. I like the end shot is like insane, and then Rehearsals for Retirement is just like genuinely like just entering into that world is just insane. And then I just got back from my couch. I guess.
Yeah.
Before getting on here, I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming. I have very interesting perspective on this. I was actually leaning towards the two.
2.5?
I was leaning towards the 2.5, and then I was just like, yeah, no. Like it immediately like everything that I kind of enjoyed about the film kind of left me as soon as I finished it. And so I was like, okay, it's not that good. But there's actually some interesting things here. It's kind of a weird movie. You don't have any Uncle Ben,
Yeah.
and then Mary Jane is kind of like a side character that's like a comedic relief. And then you have it's so strange. What I think this Spider-Man has going for it is looking back, because I've seen almost every Spider-Man this month. Looking back at like the Tobey Maguire ones, right? They feel more comic booky, right? This one feels more like a high school film, which I kind of think is cool in its own right.
Sure.
Hear me out here. I think it's like it actually feels, especially like Spider-Man itself, it kind of feels realistic of like if a high schooler got these powers, that's probably how he would fucking act. Like he would probably be like super out there, like super excited and like confused about what's going on and super flamboyant, right? And it kind of feels like a more like down to earth Spider-Man, where it's like, okay, that's probably more relatable. Like he's probably a more relatable Spider-Man of like that's how every American high schooler would react if they had superpowers. Um, and I think that has a lot going for it. I also think it's weird that they substitute Uncle Ben for Iron Man in this movie. Like Iron Man's kind of his father figure, and Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. is just a presence. Like I just love Robert Downey Jr. on my screen. I love Iron Man. He's like the best superhero in the MCU. and I just kind of like the things that he's doing there, and it's kind of funny. The I don't laugh once in this movie. It's all the jokes kind of flop. Michael Keaton is actually not a bad villain. I think he's the best villain of this trilogy, right? Like I'm not a big fan of Jake Gyllenhaal's villain in Far From Home, but I kind of like
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's character. I remember when I watched this in theaters in 2017, I was shocked that it was his like girl's father. I remember that being like a huge plot twist, and he opens the door. And I
Mhm.
think it still kind of works even knowing that. Like it's still kind of like a fun thing. It kind of feels like it kind of like reminds me of like how villains are kind of created in like almost every Spider-Man, right? It's like they're the scientist or like this, and it kind of works as like I also love the concept of when he drops them off at homecoming. He's like, I need to give him like a father talk. I just
Mhm.
love the idea of like a homecoming Spider-Man. Like I just like the idea of like, okay,
Spider-Man
this feels
Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming 5 star. It's just like those little things that keep me engaged and where I'm like, okay, it's not a bad movie. I also don't think it's the worst looking out of the trilogy. I think there's like some interesting things going on here. The fight choreo sucks, but I'm saying like, especially like the plane crash, I really like how on the plane crash. I'm like, okay, I like how the fire's lighting up there. Nothing crazy though. It's not like jaw dropping. It's just like, oh, it's kind of surprising for what I remembered it being like complete ass. There's only like one or two shots, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, but yeah, it's not like an ass film, right? I definitely think it's probably the best out of the trilogy. Like, I'm not really excited to watch Far From Home tomorrow or No Way Home on Wednesday or Brand New Day on Thursday. Like, I'm gonna have a shit couple days. I think this peak of what Tom Holland Spider-Man can do, and also it's really fun seeing him right after the
Yeah,
like seeing
right.
him. I forget how young he looked here. Like he looks really fucking young. And the whole
It's like
time I was thinking, I was
10
like,
years ago.
this guy was really in a. There's a shot with him and Tony Stark in the car. I'm like, wow, Tony Stark did Oppenheimer and Spider-Man did the Odyssey.
Mhm.
They grew up.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, for how much slop the MCU is, I do have to give the MCU props for because I think it's one of the few instances where you have a company dedicating so many years, so much money to a big scale like story, right? They start with Iron Man, and I always will say ends with Endgame, right? From Iron Man to Endgame, right? You have all these movies, good or bad, right? Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. The fact that they did them and they have all these interesting characters or whatever it is, like Captain America showing up in this one, like you have all this lore that all I'm thinking about while watching this movie is like Spider-Man's gonna die from Thanos, and it's like super strange, right? Because it feels so small in this, but to know like the I always thinking of is his emotional moment with Iron Man of when he's dying, right? I'm like that's just kind of cool that they can create this series that's like 30 movies big, right? You don't see there's nothing else like it, right? And I kind of just have to give Marvel props for that. I'm not saying MCU is great by any means, but I think they do really good at creating that big scale thing, and I understand why people love it because they're getting attached for years on that
Yeah.
stuff.
I think they're just as damaged within that though, because it's created a generation who really, because I think the structure of that is much more similar to television, where there's
Yeah.
like these episodes leading up to the finale. And television is kind of like more of a it's kind of a writing medium where it's kind of focused on like character progression over series, like with the episodic structure, and also very like plot driven, right? And so it has created a generation that thinks that that is what cinema is, and
Yeah.
that has been just, I mean, the MCU is damaging for a number of reasons, but I I struggle to give it props for that just because of that, but also like I mean, when do you think they, like, planned it? Because I don't think they planned that shit out until,
I
like,
don't
a
know,
few
but
years
it's
before
to me
Endgame.
it's to me it's crazy. Like, to me, it's crazy that they
Yeah,
made so many fucking movies.
yeah. How
Like,
many
to know
movies
that
is in the MCU right now?
I think
Leading
it's,
up
like,
to Doomsday, right? Because this is
I think
their
it's, like, 30. 30. And to think that Iron Man started in 2008,
Right.
like, it's insane. That's, like, 2 movies a year, and these are,
Yeah.
like, big movies. It's, like,
Yeah.
kind of just, like, insane to think about, and it's just, like it's one of those things that I'm always big on of, like, I always, like I'm thinking outside of the actual movie, I'm thinking of all the side plots, I'm thinking, "Where's Hulk?" You know?
Mhm.
I like
Yeah,
when Michael
like
Keaton's character is kinda thinking of like, he's talking derogatory towards the Avengers. He's like, "All those rich people up in Avenger Tower," right? Like, they get to do whatever they want. They can kill as many people as they want. Can't, you know? I just love Michael Keaton. He's just amazing. But, yeah, that's just basically my little spiel on the MCU. I haven't watched the MCU since I started getting into movies. It's been since Endgame since I've seen any really MCU movies.
since
And
Endgame came out.
yeah, I just remember growing up, I did a whole marathon with my mom and my brother for a week, and we watched all of them. And I remember just like having a good time because when you're in that world, you're just kind of set in that world.
Yeah.
Um, I think they can be entertaining, you know, but I think when you're looking at it in the scope of like the damage that's done to the film community or the actual quality of the movies, like directing and visual wise, I think you can get down on it. Um, but I think as a kid, when you're getting into it, it kind of is like
Yeah, yeah.
peak.
Yeah, I
You're just
mean,
like, oh,
it's
this is so good.
yeah, they're
And
kids'
so
movies.
I still think it's going to be hard for me. Like I definitely felt it with this movie, like just still holding on to a little bit of that. Whereas like kind of going into this, I'm like, I'm going to give Homecoming a 1 star because I'm a cinephile and I don't like Marvel movies. But then as I was watching this movie, I was like, okay, like there's actually I'm remembering some of this stuff and it's kind of cute and kind of am not having a bad time and I can watch this, you know.
Mhm.
So that's why I gave it 2 stars or whatever. But yeah, that's what I watched this week. Shit ton of movies.
Yeah, okay. I kinda locked back in this week.
There you go.
I feel like I'm back in the groove, like, around a movie a day, so, you know.
There you go.
Um, I watched a David Lean movie called Blithe Spirit, which is basically it's a fun movie. It's about, this man who he's widowed, his wife died, and he's married to a new woman, and he wants to write a book about, like, mediums tapping into, like, ghost stuff, that kinda thing, so they invite a medium over to their house for dinner, and they have, like, a seance kinda thing to, like, speak to the ghosts, and then his dead wife appears, and in the movie, like, tonally, it's great, because it never treats anything, like, super shocking, or, like, the wife will appear, he's like, "Are you really here right now?" And then they just, like, start talking in a conversation, you know, and it's
Yeah.
very, like, funny, and there's a lot of jokes, um, about that, and I think it's just a great setup, and it's shot the first part is shot really well, especially with kinda that seance thing. Um, I think, like, the second half of the movie kinda turns into like, "Okay, how do we send her back?" kinda thing, and it's, like, funny, but it's just, like it felt like that was the only idea we had to, like, kinda finish this out, which is weird when I mean, that concept kind of, there's so much, like, juice from that you could get where, like, oh, there's complications with this new wife and now your dead ex-wife and, like, there's the moral kinda thing of, like, he moved on. Did he move on too quick? Like that, there's so much to play with there, especially in a comedy, kind of dramedy, thing with a really great director and it just kinda doesn't go into that stuff as much as I wanted it to, but really fun performances. I definitely recommend it. It's just like a fun kind of movie to watch.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now we'll get into the Nicolas Winding Refn. I basically just tried to grind his movies and
I'm so happy because we basically like we're on the same path. Like I was there a week earlier of, like,
Yeah.
you watching all those movies, and then I saw you log "BD is not a sin." I was like, "Hell," and then I saw you log "Touch of Crude." I was like, "Okay, Luke's literally on this has the same mindset
Yeah.
as like, let's
Well,
get through this Nicholas."
I wanted to watch. Well, it was just kind of this thing where I was like, I mean, I knew I was at least gonna watch Neon Demon and Only God Forgives because of the style being probably a lot like similar to Her Private Hell, and just me needing to rewatch those movies in general, which I definitely did. Definitely Only God Forgives more so. Um, But yeah, then I watched them and then I was like, I think I should keep watching. And like I was like, um, I just like, all right, let's do it. And I watched, I think, everything except for the Pusher trilogy and Fear X.
I haven't
Um,
seen Fear X. That doesn't seem
yeah.
that good.
I think it looks good, but it's I mean, probably not great.
It's minor,
Yeah,
yeah.
like minor, but um yeah, so okay, Neon Demon. um Elle Fanning, great. So great. So great. Even Keanu Reeves is great, and, um, man, it's really beautiful, and I'm really into kind of what he's doing with it. I have a lot of compliments for this movie. I think kind of I like the with Her Private Hell, I kinda talked about it, but his kind of ambiguous characters on, because there's a lot of gray morally gray area with Neon Demon where, like, she's 16 and, even Carl Glusman, you know, that guy?
He's great in Love. He's great in Love by Gaspar Noé.
Right, and Lux Eterna I watched recently, so I
Okay.
was just thinking
Mhm.
about that. But he's kind of the boyfriend who's kind of the nicest character to her and kinda like the most real character, but it's like he's also just, like, in a relationship with a 16-year-old and, like, knows about it, and it's, like, weird. Um, and, you know, even Elle Fanning kinda turns into this kind of, like, you know she gets a little corrupted, progressively, and and her character is really interesting. I think that like while watching it, I was a little like, okay, Refn's being very clear with kind of what he's trying to get across here, like in a way that was just definitely made me enjoy it a little less because I think it gave me like less to engage with there, which he starts to go kind of, which I think it is that way for like a large majority of the movie until the very like the ending portion where it gets pretty clearly more surreal. But even then, I think it's pretty clear like what he's trying to communicate. Um, and you know, but it's still like there are scenes of this movie that made me like squirm and like close my eyes and like it's beautiful and it's a really really enjoyable movie. Like I think it's like genuinely watchable, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. And then I watched I think Only God Forgives I mean, was my favorite until Her Private Hell, but that was just it was just kind of like I think I like the way this movie's shot a lot better. Like I was kind of like there was some um parts of Neon Demon where um I don't know. I don't think there's any I don't have any issues with the way that movie's shot. I really like how it's shot, but I think Only God Forgives kind of like takes it in a level where, like, oh, every image here was like really, really touching me in like a in a way where it feels more of like my thing. And Ryan Gosling's like so fucking great. And it just made me so sad. Like I was so sad watching it because I'm like, man, he was in now he's in fucking Project Hail Mary and he's gonna
Ghost
be
Rider.
fucking Ghost Rider in a Sean Levy movie. He's in two Sean Levy movies. These are his upcoming movies. And it's like we lost him. Like he's gone. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, he used to be in fucking Terrence Malick movies and Nicolas Winding Refn movies, you know? So sad. Because what's so great about Ryan Gosling is, I mean, I think he's perfect in for Refn because he brings natural charisma, but also natural chemistry where he'll just walk in a room and be with another person, and there's just he doesn't have to say anything, and there's it's instantaneous chemistry with whoever is in that. Like, he just brings that, and
Yeah.
and it's like I'm watching him in this movie. I'm like, wow, he's used so well here. Um, yeah, crazy movie. Heart, yeah, that's all I'll say. Could go in a lot about that, but so great. Um, then I watched Bleeder, which, um, uh,
Surprised you don't like this.
yeah, so there's a
If you don't
there's
like this, you're not gonna like Pusher.
oh, really? We'll see.
It's very they're very, very similar, like, 'cause I think it was right after the first Pusher,
Yeah,
and it's, like, very similar in tone. You have the same, like, cast. It's, like, the same cast,
yeah,
like, same
right.
story, basically.
Which a lot of these casts kinda went on even, to be kind of in bigger stuff,
Yeah.
which is cool. Yeah, so I think Mads Mikkelsen is kind of what everyone talks about in this movie about this movie, and he's great. And I really love every scene with his love interest, which is Refn's wife, um, who plays Leah, and they're just kind of, he'll just like. It's funny, like all the letterbox reviews are like relating to him because he can't talk to girls and all he can think about is watching movies. It's really
Yeah.
funny. Um, but I mean, there's just when he like first talks to her in her shop, she's just kind of like, "What's your favorite movie?" He's like, "The Texas Chainsaw Massacre." it's it's funny, and they just have such a Refn directs it really really well, and he holds on kind of this awkwardness, and it's really great. Like that's my favorite stuff in the movie is with them, and I just don't really like the other stuff. I think like like how I like Refn's kind of like more complicated characters. These seem pretty straightforward in their like motivations and kind of ways, things like that. Um, yeah, but there's a really cool shot like at the very start of the movie where the camera's like gliding over like all of these like movie DVDs and
Yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, then I watched Valhalla Rising. Um, which is really interesting. Um, it's about like a prisoner Viking with one eye, which is his name,
His name is
and
One Eye, yeah.
he is like a slave, and then he escapes being a slave during a time where there are Christians kind of coming in and persecuting everyone who's non-Christian um and but then when One Eye escapes with this other little boy, they join this group of Christians and kind of like take a voyage into this very foggy sea, and that's kind of like the movie kind of goes very slow from that point on. um but
Yes.
it's very beautiful. It's very very Herzog, like
Mhm.
very much Herzog. um
I
which
wrote in my review that this is his pictorial, like, this is his prettiest pictorially film. Like, it just, like, the the sun through the clouds, and you got, like, the fog on the mountains. It just, like, looks
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. I
And
mean,
the red
there's
shit is insane.
yes,
Every time
yeah.
it cuts to red, it's
He
like,
keeps
"Bro,
having the One Eye keeps having, like, visions of, like,
the
basically
future."
him, like, dying or, um yeah. And it goes like he puts this red filter on it. It looks crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I think this movie is really good, actually. It kind of comes together, um, in a way where he kind of knows he's gonna die at one point, but he's like this kind of god, One Eye, and he has like super strength, and and it kind of ends with him kind of like taking he's the boy keeps following him, and they have like a really interesting connection, and um and it kind of ends with him kind of sacrificing himself for the boy, and the last shot is kind of like on the boy, and it's kind of like his it's almost like, oh, it was his purpose to kind of like shelter the young, right? And
Yeah.
I kind of wish it went a little more about One Eye, um, just because I thought it could have done both and
Yeah.
some other stuff like that, but it was good. Then I watched The Birdcage
Great film.
by Mike Nichols. So fucking good. Oh my god. I did not like I've seen this movie, and then I was watching it and I was like, wow, this is, I
Mike
the
Nichols is underrated, man.
oh
Mike
yeah.
Nichols is
No,
underrated.
he's great. But so Mike Nichols directing like an obviously like a very, very talented filmmaker. And then it goes written by Elaine May, who I love. One of my favorite movies, The Heartbreak Kid. She wrote and directed, and just someone that I've read a lot about, and just like I'm super excited to watch all of her movies, especially A New Leaf looks really good to me.
Hey,
Um,
hey, guess what? I'm seeing A New Leaf in theaters in 2 weeks,
uh,
and
great.
I'm seeing Mickey and Nicky
Oh yeah,
in theaters,
cool.
like, next week, and so I don't think I've ever seen an Elaine May, so I'm excited to start my journey with
Yeah,
her watching Mickey and Nicky in theaters, which is, like, actually pretty sick.
she's so
But
so
yeah,
talented. And
it's
then
kinda cool that we align there.
yeah, it's shot by Emmanuel Lubezki, and it's just like that comes up, and I'm like, "This is, like, my dream team going on," and,
Yeah, what
uh,
the fuck?
and it's shot, like, so well, like, it's lit so well, and, just the it's so funny, like, so goddamn funny,
The John Wayne part is
yeah, the
hilarious.
John Wayne walk where he's
Walk like
like
John Wayne.
and it is kinda like, yeah, John Wayne does walk like that. Um,
Yeah,
and there's,
so good.
the Gene Hackman is so good. We're like it's like Nathan Lane all-time performance. We all know this, and Robin
Yeah.
Williams is great, and I don't remember Gene Hackman that much, and I'm watching it, I'm like, so much of this movie is great because Gene Hackman is, like, in love with Nathan Lane as the mother, and he's, like, super homophobic Republican,
Yeah.
very traditional conservative, senator, who's, like, trying to protect his image, and
Them
that
trying
whole
to sneak
thing.
out is cool too. This is, like, one of those movies that's, like, a really good concept too. Like,
Oh,
it's, like,
yeah,
the concept is
brilliant.
great.
It's
Just
a
so good.
remake, this one, of a French movie, I believe.
Oh, really?
Which would be interesting. Yeah, French. Um, yeah, and but I don't know how similar it is, but yeah, it's a great concept, but the script, it's so goddamn funny. Like
Yeah.
it's a weird structure, and I watched it with two people who fell asleep and just kind of, it's just like whatever.
What?
I was pretty much just watching it. But because it is like they were like, "Oh man, this movie's so slow." Like they're like, "It's interesting, but it's slow." And I don't think it's slow, but it's slow in terms of like actual plot events happening. Like the structure is kind of weird where it's just a huge build up to like the dinner, which maybe they make seem like it's going to happen earlier, um and the dinner kind of lasts for like a long time, but it's kind of basically like, okay, he's getting married, and they got to prepare for this dinner, right? And it's kind of like a lot of that, but there's so many like there's so much, it's constantly doing things and like bringing out information and having great jokes where it's like it is a weird structure that leaves me like I don't know if it totally worked, but part of me is like, I think it does, and I like, I don't know. I was kind of mixed on it that I kind of yeah, but it's so great. Um, and then I watched Vertigo last night. Just a little
I have
old
a question. I
movie.
have a question for you about this.
Okay.
So I remember us talking about it, and you said that if you rewatched Vertigo, it might be the greatest movie you've ever seen.
Yeah. It might be. I don't know. So this shit's just messing with me. We're like, I mean, I didn't give it 5 stars. If you want to be all technical about it, but like I'm watching this shit and I'm just like, this might be like the greatest movie ever made. But like, I don't know. It's it's so it's such a crazy movie. I mean, there's like the dream sequence, which is like very famously um awesome. But just like the way Hitchcock kind of is withholding this information, and you believe that Kim Novak is a ghost, possessed for a little. You're like, maybe she is possessed, and then it's like, oh no. And just kind of like the way he has you, he has the audience and kind of takes you through it. And kind of what's so beautiful about Vertigo is James Stewart and his fixation on these like traumatic events in the past. um the same for kind of even this fake story about Madeline, played by Kim Novak, um and kind of this obsession with the past and wanting to recreate the past and like needing to face it, to be able to move forward with your life. um and it leads into that kind of final moment, and it's really sad, and it's like it's crazy. um and I kind of just feel really bad for James Stewart. um yeah, it's and it doesn't leave on kind of this cookie cutter ending, at all. It's like a
Yeah.
cliffhanger thing, and it's sad, and it's and the score is insane, and it's just a fucking crazy movie. And I love how it's in San Francisco. um it's beautiful. I mean, San Francisco's never looked that beautiful, right? Like
Yeah.
I can assure you right now, it doesn't look that beautiful. There's way more poop all over the place, but
Yeah.
incredible movie. Yeah. All right, that's
Cool.
it.
You recommended me Glengarry Glen Ross. This movie is really, really fucking good. I love the lighting. A lot of the lighting that's going on is great.
Yeah.
It's really fun, especially in like the first half. The script is beyond remarkable. Like the script is insane. And I'm just like constantly taken aback. Pacino's character isn't really there for the first little bit, and then when he kind of is
Mhm.
there for the second half, on the second day, he's just like a presence. And Jack Lemmon plays this like very distraught old man
Mhm.
that's really fun to watch. Like there's like a desperation and an anger about like the society he's living in. And Alex Baldwin comes in. I honestly thought there was gonna be more when he's in
Yeah.
one scene.
That's kind of like famously he's in one scene and he kind of steals the show.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey is great as always, on screen, and
All unscrewed.
on
Yes.
screen he's always great. Uh, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's an actor's masterclass. It's again, it getting a 3.5 is really good for me with this type of movie because it's typically not the type of film I like. It, I think the reason I like it significantly more than Carnage in particular is basically I felt more emotion through it. Like there's like an angst. Like I felt myself like clenching my fists at a lot of moments with like a lot of like character dynamics of like them yelling at each other. I feel like I'm in the room, like you're kind of like a fly on the wall,
Hmm.
and you're just like seeing people just yell at each other for nearly 2 hours, and it's like kind of great. There's great blocking sequences. I think that's kind of what I appreciated. Like Carnage, I can see more like directing prowess there behind the camera, which is funny. It's James Foley, who directed 50 Shades of Grey, or the two sequels, which is really funny. Um, those movies are fine. And yeah, I don't know. It's really hard for me to. I think in this stage of me watching movies, I really don't rate movies over if I can't really emotionally connect with them on a deep level. It can have this great script, which I value more than a lot of people. Like a great script is huge for me. Um, it can have a great script and have it can have this great cast doing great performances. It just at the end of the day, it's like that's all it's really doing for me is like an entertaining watch of like people being really good at their craft, and it's like really fun to watch. It's like, oh, these people built their whole lives to be this good at acting, to be this good at screenwriting, and they're doing it at the high level, and it's like really fun to watch. It's just, do I connect to the story? No, but that's fine. It can still be a good movie without me connecting. And I had a great time watching it. It's like one of my favorite first time watches in a while. Um, so yeah, I think it is a great rec. It is cool seeing Jack Lemmon that old,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Um,
That was why I remember. That's why I recommended, because of Avanti. You know, kind of old
yeah,
Jack Lemmon. So
yeah.
good.
I don't know. It's a cool concept. Ed Harris is actually really really good. Jonathan Pryce is like has a moment that's really interesting. Like he's kind of in this like weird debacle where he kind of made a mistake the night prior getting drunk, making this deal with Al Pacino's character, and his wife's getting on his ass. And dude, I just love that entire part. I think I actually like the second part, second day, just like everything with Pacino of just like yelling and the cops are in the place. And I love how it kind of stops in the middle of the night, the first night, and then it goes to the next day and the place is robbed. I for sure thought we were going to see the robbery, and then it kind of flips it on its head, and then knowing that Jack Lemmon did it is like, oh, that's kind of crazy. I
Yeah.
was not expecting that. It's like a small little plot twist there. Um, yeah, and so like Al Pacino going from trying to convince Jonathan Pryce to do what he wants while also like playing a fake facade that he's a different person, which I think is really cool, right? And then Jack Lemmon kind of plays along with it. I also love Jack Lemmon and Al Pacino's dynamic together of how like Pacino's always like defending Jack Lemmon's character against Ed Harris, who's kind of like a cynical guy who's like always angry at everyone. He wants, and Al Pacino like is the best, but he's also like looking out for the younger people. So like when Jack Lemmon's getting, man, I suck and you're so great, you know? And Al Pacino's like, it's okay, man. You had those great few months and you'll get back on track. You just had a rough couple last months and you'll get back on track. And it, in a way, if anyone else did it, it would kind of feel like condescending, like he's kind of being fake. But I kind of felt that at the beginning. But as you're kind of seeing them interact more, you can kind of see that Al Pacino like genuinely cares for Jack Lemmon. And it's like that's kind of a sweet thing in itself. And then I love Kevin Spacey of what he's doing. Like he's kind of getting shit on as right. Like everyone hates him, and he's like this boss that's like even like Jack Lemmon yelling at him is like, you don't know shit about this industry. Like you shouldn't even be here. Like you're just sucking up to these guys. I also I don't know why it's so funny to me, but like them saying what's the word they say all the time? They say the word a million times in the film. It's like tickets. It's like it's about the
Leads.
actual thing. The leads.
Yeah.
They say leads a million times in this film,
Yeah.
and every so fun. Like I don't know why a word has never felt so like satisfying. Like they're saying just give me the Glengarry leads. And I'm just like, that's just like such a cool word. I would just use that in every movie. Like, I kind of want to just put it in my own movie, like just randomly, like an ode to this movie. Yo, you got the Glengarry leads. Like, I love Glengarry. Like the way that they're saying, I don't know. It's such a weird fixation I have with like cool little things that screenwriters use that are really fun, and like being able to make it not feel like repetitive or old, kind of like how Her Private Hell uses daddy, and like not making daddy feel like overstrung. It's like really interesting how they do it, because it's actually like really hard. If you ever try and you're kind of using a certain tone or a word over and over, it's like, okay, bro, we get it. They're the leads. They're the leads. But it's like such a central part of the story, and it works so well. So yeah, I really liked it. It for sure is a dad movie. It feels
Yeah.
like a dad film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Bahubali.
Bahubali.
So did you watch it in all in one go?
No, I didn't. I did,
Did you split it up by the intermission?
no, and here's why. But I split it up at, like, a good time, I would say, where,
Yeah.
I was like okay, but I'll explain. So, at least in my on the Netflix version, which so it gets to the point where you find out okay, spoilers for Bahubali the Epic. So the
Skip an
everyone
hour forward.
yeah, no one's seen that movie, but, you know,
Shame.
basically okay, I'll you know what? No spoilers. I'll keep it spoiler free, but you find out who killed Bahubali, and that's the intermission, correct?
Sure. Yes. 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 That's the
Um,
intermission.
so for me, it basically just like did that, went to black, and then quickly started again. Where I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
sure that it was I was like, "Oh, that seems like an intermission," and it's halfway through the movie, but I was like, "It seems like there would be a clear intermission, so I'm just gonna wait," you know? And so I was like, because I was planning on I was gonna keep watching until the intermission, um, because I had to, like, make dinner and yeah, anyways. Um, but so I kept going for another, like, 30 minutes or something, um and I was like, "When the hell is this intermission gonna happen?" And I, like, pause it and I look it up, like, "When's the intermission?" And it's like, "Oh, it's when you find out that," I'm like, "Oh, shit, it was that."
Yeah.
So, like, fuck, alright, well, I stopped it at when, the the main girl rejects so the evil
Yeah.
son wanted her, and so the queen mother kind of requested her, and she said no, and then the queen mother sent all the troops to go fight, basically,
Yeah.
right? And then they were about to do that, and so I paused it because I was like,
Okay.
"Okay, they're about to, like it's about to be
It's
good,"
gonna be big.
you
Yeah.
know? Like, I can't pause it in the middle of that. Um, and I kinda knew what was happening, which helps. So, okay, the second half was where I really started to get on board, and I started to have a really good time, and the first half was tough for me, where I was like, "I think I get everything," but, like, it felt, like I was like, maybe I don't get everything," and I don't think I did get, like, a lot of the stuff, because also when you find out the intermission thing, that big cliffhanger, I kinda, like I didn't really get it. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
shocked or, like,
So
I know that
it's
it
it's really
was
it's really fun because the whole second portion, or I guess, and essentially the second film, is what it basically is.
yeah,
The second film is basically all told through a story until like
right,
that last portion, that last war sequence.
yeah,
Um, it's really, and the dynamic is really hard to kind of grasp because it's played by the same guy, and they're both called Bahubali,
right.
right?
But,
Basically.
yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah,
So my biggest thing is like, what? the style of this actual film is kind of what led me to like actually loving this. I agree. The second part is for sure the best, and probably right after you unpaused it is the best part of the boat
No,
when it's flying.
yeah, I agree. Well,
That's
yeah.
so
Well,
Avatar.
I actually
It's so Avatar.
sure. I actually really well, I mean, so I don't really like so you're obsessed with the music.
Yeah, I
I
love the music.
like
I'm listening to it every day.
I like the main theme. There's like a main theme, if that right? That at
Yeah.
least it played over and over, which I really liked. I don't like the songs when it goes into like the full songs.
Oh, those
Um,
are the best.
yeah,
The song on the boat made me like levitate.
yeah,
And
I
also
didn't like
when
that
he's
one.
scaling the mountain in the beginning and the girl's kind of
Right.
like this, she's wearing a white dress and she's kind of leading him up the mountain. Their song together is like heaven to me. I'm just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
I mean, I
I
figured.
couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do
And
you
then
think? Like, okay, I'll let you go.
most of the other score felt pretty generic action movie to me, where I was a little I don't I was kind of I didn't really get what you got, but then like the main thing's really good. So I was like, "Oh, like that stuff?" Like I don't know.
The opening credits song is insane. I was like, holy fuck.
Sure.
It, like immediately starts and it has like the
I like that it shows kind of
vignette.
hints of all the like images that we're gonna
Yeah,
see, right?
yeah, so good.
But so yeah, the first half felt very yeah, I mean stylistically there's stuff from like, oh, I really like that, and but there's also kind of a lot of stuff that just kind of didn't stick the landing for me. And so that's kind of like I was just kind of like mixed on things, but like trying to have a good time, just like trying to just like have fun with it. And then kind of the second half is where I really got to have fun with it. The first, it felt really chopped up, and then it would do like super quick exposition dumps for like a minute where it just like drop like all the
Yeah.
knowledge and then it's like okay now we're gonna like fucking
Yeah.
go and like be in this place.
So
um
the first half, so both movies are like 2 hours and 50 minutes long.
yes.
The first half, the first movie, they cut out an hour of it,
Yes. No, I know. So
and then
I
the
was gonna
second half they
say
cut out 30.
this as like I they cut out, you know, a
The whole
good chunk
romance.
out of like the full runtime of like the two movies separately, and then the full thing. You know, there's a good like hour
Hour
or
and a half.
two, yeah, cut out where I really felt it. Where I think like it's kind of cut up in a way where I was like, I feel like they chopped it up, and I think I actually would have liked to watch the separate films.
So
And
the reason they did that, like the most notable part is when they do like the exposition montage of the the son of Bahubali, right?
the
Of
romance
the
with his
girl that he
son,
meets when he
yeah,
goes up, like the warrior girl. They do
yes,
like a montage of their romance.
yeah.
So basically, the reason they cut all that out basically is because after SS made the movies, he realized that he didn't even explore the romance in the second movie at all. So she didn't matter as a character.
So he's
And you
like,
notice
just
that
take
even in
that
the
shit out.
epics, he's like, fuck their romance. This is taking too much time out of the
Yeah,
thing. And so like and that was probably like 45 minutes, their entire romance, and it's condensed into a minute and a half. And so he's just kind of like letting go of that plot to kind of go forward with Bahubali in particular.
yeah.
Um,
But then
my
why?
favorite thing of the first half is the relationship of the brothers is amazing because they're super like nice to each
Mhm.
other, and I love the progression in the second half of how you see that kind of trust fall. Like I like the older brother, how he doesn't, and he's
He
like kind of
doesn't
fine
what?
with it. He doesn't become king after
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
battle,
yeah.
and he's like kind of fine with it. And I was expecting him to be like outraged, right? Because it was kind of made for him to be king. Because father like won Bahubali. When he doesn't become king, he's kind of fine being the guardsman, right? He's like kind of fine being the warrior. And then I love in the second half how it progresses of like the romance kind of breaking them apart and making them hate each other. And that girl is great. And I don't know, I I understand why that the exposition thing is hard. Maybe it's just like
I
I
think
was so
it's
enveloped with the music and the actual like filmmaking of it. I was like, fuck. Like even the first battle sequence, which is long, is just insane. It's insane how many people they have out there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
no, it
India is
is.
a
I
big
mean,
country and
the
like it's like
yeah.
they really just did that. I'm
I
like,
think
holy
it's just
fuck.
tough within the frame of like a 4.5 hour epic where it's like you have the time to explore this exposition. You know, I mean, it's kind of like it's probably just a matter of circumstance of like fitting two movies into one, you know,
Yeah.
where that's just going to come with some issues, I think, or, you know, some struggles. Um, but like if you're like taking this as like its own thing, it's like, yeah, you have 4.5 hours and then it's like dumping things extremely quickly. And it's like, fuck, there's so much movie. Like, how am I supposed to like take this all in? You know, because there's so much fucking shit happening. You know,
It's there's so many cool like side plots and character dynamics like you were talking about with like the the arranged marriage type thing. I
mhm,
love the dynamic there of like he thinks it's him. Like he thinks that like because he's like kind of disguised in that kingdom, and he's kind of thinking, "Oh, my mom's setting it up for me, right? It's the son." And then when it's not, it's like a big thing, and he's defending, and like her kind of standing up to the queen, which is rare. And and they get outcast, and how they're like kind of thriving outside the kingdom, right? Of like helping all these people, and that's making everyone mad. Like we need to kill him.
mhm,
And then I like how like his right hand man has to kill him. Like I was thinking, I was like,
mhm,
how the fuck is this like guy who's like probably the most likable character in the movie? Like,
mm,
how is he gonna be the one that kills him?
right,
And it all kind of makes sense. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean
yeah,
to do this, but like the queen asked me to, right?
mhm,
And he has like big regret. And it kind of leads to like the new Bahubali coming up, and he's like Jesus. And he's literally like Jesus. And it
yeah,
becomes like this big thing. Like he's the coming of Christ almost. And
yeah,
I think that's like the thing that attached to me the most of like seeing this new culture, and like you can see a lot of like Indian culture in this film. You can see a lot of religious things that they have in that country that I'm not familiar with at all. And it kind of feels like a history lesson in like this big fantasy epic. That's insane, and it's filled with music. And why I love the music so much, it feels so spirit, like that's the Indian culture is that type of music, and like the way they're dancing, and like the happiness that they have throughout it, and then their urgency to like protect their kingdom is like very noble, right? Like they want to protect their kingdom. They're really good people, but they're fine killing these people that come into their walls.
I
So yeah,
love like my favorite stuff in this movie is kind of what I talked about in my review, where we have like a post Lord of the Rings Hollywood where fantasy is kind of like very grounded, and like this post Dark Knight thing where, you know, our fantasy movies are superhero movies, and those superhero movies are grounded, and we can't really like have fantastical things. And like a lot of fantasy movies I see from like the East are able to take those leverages, and like this movie has like just like bowls that are like have like flaming heads, or like, you know, like random shit like that, where like you're building a world of like, you know, anything goes. Like that's kind of the beauty of the sandbox of fantasy, right? Is you can like do that shit. It's fun.
yeah.
And I mean, even like having one of my favorite scenes is when Bahubali, the old one, and the OG and the girl are like there's a lot of bow and arrow fights, which is so fun. I love bow and arrow stuff. And they're kind of like you know, symbiotically fighting all these like soldiers with bow and arrows, and they do like 3 arrows at a time and stuff like that. And we'll do
Yeah, and they're
that.
turning around each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
together, where it's like you can't even do that in a Western fantasy movie because it's unrealistic to shoot 3 arrows at the same time. It's like, that's how fucking stupid we've gotten over here. We're like, we can't even have fun with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's Bahubali. Good segue into what I'm recommending you. So
Okay, great.
I'm going to recommend you with a Chinese fantasy movie that is, I think, definitionally the kind of what I think of as like, man, we can't do this in Hollywood. Like, this is purely like, you know, just awesome shit. Um, Green Snake.
Oh my gosh, let's go. I'm so excited. Thank you. Yes, I'm so excited. This movie looks so good.
So Green Snake
Let's
is
go.
also kind of, it actually is similar to Bahubali, where like
What
it's
a fucking poster, by the way.
oh yeah,
What
it's
a fucking
beautiful.
poster. Holy shit. This movie looks so
So
sick.
it's similar to Bahubali, where like it's the shit is just happening like really fast, and like it's kind of like there's a lot of exposition and it's happening really fast, and it's kind of like chaotic, which is like something maybe I would normally have an issue with, but like for some reason I think it works like so well. Um where there's just like so much like fun shit, and like I'm just into it, and I think the I don't know, like, it's very quick and it's, like, very, like, a lot in your face, um,
Yeah.
but, some reason, like, I think emotionally it just has me, from the
Yeah.
get-go, and some beautiful, beautiful movie magic stuff, yeah. There you go.
Sick. I was gonna recommend you something related to what I just watched, related to the films Phil Solomon short I watched, but I'm actually gonna recommend you a director I think you haven't watched enough of yet.
Probably true.
And he has I've been seeing a lot of stuff about him because they just did like thing on Instagram talking about like the people how Christopher Nolan now has 6 movies in the top 500 of Letterboxd, right? And this guy has 7. He has 7 in the top 500.
I
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I have a few people in mind. Is it Theo?
No, it's Hirokazu Koreeda.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm seeing his new movie, A Sheep in
Sheep
the
in the
Box.
Box. It's not playing near me,
It's-
unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm going to recommend, since it's very limited, I'm going to recommend you a movie by him because he's fucking great. I'm in between 2, and I don't know which one to give you. Um,
Come on.
Fuck. Do I give you my favorite or the one I think that you'll? Uh, yeah, you know what? I'll give you this one just because it's very similar to Ozu. I know you like Ozu. Basically, his ode to Ozu more so than all of his other films. So I'll recommend you Still Walking
Cool.
by Koreeda. Yeah, it's great. It's all one location about family. I was gonna recommend you Nobody Knows. It's also a little longer, and it's really funny though. Koreeda, almost every single one of his movies you look are 2 hours exactly. Like every
Mm,
single one of his movies, except for Nobody Knows, 140 minutes, and it's his best film.
mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I'll give you Still Walking. I think that's probably more up. And I think it's great. Really soft core, sweet stuff. Great child performances. The grandfather. I also love Hiroshi Abe. Like he's like one of my like low key favorite actors to see on screen. Like I love seeing him in anything. But the grandfather is absolutely absurdly good in this film, and he has a great character. I think you'll love it.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks very Ozu just from the vibe
No,
of the
it's literally the most Ozu movie that not made.
yeah, right.
It like no camera movement except for one shot with leaves. I think there's like one shot that the
Mm.
camera moves, And that's like my favorite type of filmmaking. Like when I become a director, I want to limit camera movement. I despise when cameras are flying all over the place. I think of like Leave the World Behind in particular. Um, just like modern cinema, it's like, oh, let's move the cameras. And it's like
Yeah.
I love the simplicity of like just letting the blocking and the characters live the thing. And also it's actually, now I'm thinking about it, kind of like a mesh between Hong Sang-soo and Ozu,
Right. Hong
which
Sang-soo is
is,
very much.
yeah, like this
um,
movie in particular, like the themes it has going on is very Hong Sang-soo and Ozu. So I think you'll love it. I'm really excited
cool.
for Green Snake. That's been like top of my watch list. That and
Yeah.
like Hero. Hero's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
on.
Me too.
I've actually like started Hero and then it's like
So have
has
I.
the has the dub versions and I'm just like, nope, I can't do
I
it.
wonder if that's why. I think
Yeah, it's like on Canopy and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it on Canopy. And then I start it and it's the dub version. I'm
right.
like,
I hate when
fuck,
Canopy does that, bro.
like,
Okay.
bro.
All right, I
Cool.
guess we'll wrap it up there. Next week, episode 25, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man.
Brand new day. We'll
Brand
probably
new
do a
day.
Spider-Man ranking as well. So look forward
Yep.
to that on our
Sure.
socials and on the long form podcast as well. So thanks
Yeah.
for watching, you guys.
Bye.